Get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And get 2 free select tools with purchase of a select combo kit or battery kit from brands like Cobalt, Craftsman, and DeWalt. Hurry and shop these savings only for a limited time because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/28 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Shop Dell Technologies Cyber Monday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Cyber Monday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Temperatures a little milder this afternoon. We'll see a high of 51 under mostly sunny skies. It's still a good bit below normal. And we'll see temperatures above freezing tonight with 35 for the overnight low. Tomorrow's high 55 under mostly sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 251 points today to 44,956. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Throws this one in and a quick shot right away to the score. Jaden Schwartz, 19 seconds in. Now Carolina with a chance out from Robinson. He scores! Bjorkstrand right on Kochetkov with the save. Tolman into the rebound. He scores. Now here's a chance. Nature's coming in. He scores! Feed it across. They'll score! Drury! What a shot!
Determined there was goaltender interference.
Chopped out in front. They'll score! Yanni Gourde to a loose puck over Kochetkov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Hump Day. You just heard the highlights from the Canes game last night. Highlights, lowlights. They were lights. Like, you know how people say instead of like, have a good day, have a day?
Yeah, go have a day.
I don't know if it's a highlight, but it's lights. That's for sure. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. You just heard from him. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's put it as simply as we can. Carolina Hurricanes did not do a good job last night. Did not do a good job last night in what I thought was actually a pretty good setup for them to have a little bit of a get-right game. They're now on a 3-game losing streak where the first two, I think, get changed by last night. You lose to the Panthers, back-to-back games, a really good team, obviously, with your third, maybe now fourth-string goalie in Spencer Martin. It's like, all right, that's fine. There's reasons, right? Those aren't excuses. Those are reasons. But then you lose to Seattle with one of your two top goalies, and you don't do some of the things that I think you've done a really good job of this year, you let some things that have become calling cards of yours slip away. It's like, you know what? I don't know if those Panther losses looking that bad were just because you had the third goalie and just because the Panther. Maybe you had something to do with those poor results as well. They didn't respond very well in situations where they have been pretty good this year. I've talked about how they haven't let the little things get to them, right? We've seen it a few times, right? You go up by 2-3 goals, the other team comes storming back and ties it up. What do? They finish with a win. Right, a little injury here, a little injury there. They've done a good job of bouncing back. Their best games this year, up until this little streak, have been following losses. And that is something that I've praised them for, right? When a little bump in the road, they get a little bit they bow their neck and they fight back and they play better and they stay calm and they stay in the right mindset. Well, last night they had that opportunity and they let the little things get to them. Now they started slow. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's not sugarcoat it. They didn't have enough opportunities. 7 shots through 2 periods?
Yeah, only 2 shots total in the second period.
I mean, and the trailing 2-1 with 7 shots after 2 periods, bad day at the office.
Yeah, Canes usually have 7 shots by like the 5-minute mark of the first.
Yeah, exactly. Usually 7 shots is like if Svetch is feeling aggressive that day, it's him. It's Gostisbehere can get 4. It was not a good day. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. 2 goals and 4 shots to take the lead in the third period. That's how you started the third. That's the Canes we've been used to seeing, right? All right, you didn't do great. You started slow. You got up on the wrong side of the bed. Bada boom, bada bang. Natchez with speed, Drury, and oh, wait a second, as you heard in those low lights at the beginning. The Drury goal, they go to review. It's goalie interference. He doesn't get the goal. But what struck me in watching the game and in seeing how they responded or didn't respond, taking what was a 2-1 deficit, it appeared to go to a 3-2 lead, yet one taken away, is it didn't look like they believed that it was a tie game. Right, sure, you had your go-ahead goal taken away. It's still like coaches are telling you it's 0-0, right? Win from this point on. But it felt like they were down 10-1, and that goal taken away and goalie interference really took the wind out of their sails. This has been a team where the wind doesn't get taken out of their sails. There's been times this season where I thought the wind should be taken out of their sails, yet they come cruising through like Jack Sparrow on a windy day. And I'm going, all right, never mind. They've weathered the storm. They've come out on the other side. They're still cranking. Last night is not a great way to deal with adversity. We reference this all the time. It felt, once that goal was taken away, a little the Replacements movie Quicksand, the Keanu Reeves movie, like that one little mistake. And then they started pressing. And it wasn't even a mistake. It was like, what would you say? 57% of refs watch that replay and says it's goalie interference, and 43 say it's not. Like, it was not a hard and fast yes or no. So I wouldn't even say it's a mistake. It's a little bad luck. It's a little situational. It's a little in your control, a little not in your control. But that little thing, and suddenly they were struggling so much and just sinking deeper and deeper into their own struggles.
Yeah, and then Yanni Gord scored for Seattle soon after that overturned call.
And just boom, ba-doom, 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 snowballed downhill.
Done.
One thing went bad. Now the little things are going bad. Now not even a Natchez multi-point night can right the ship. That's been the magic. That's been the Mary Poppins spoonful of sugar all year.
Yeah, he should have had a third point on the Jack Sherman goal.
The magic elixir has just been, when we struggle, Natchez makes a play, and now we're back in rhythm. They were struggling. Natchez made a couple plays, and they still got behind the 8 ball. That's a little bit, scale of 1 to 10, it's a 3, but it's more than a nothing panicked situation. It's more than a nothing worry situation. And Rod Brindamore went back to one of his tried and true coaching tactics. Rod Brindamore, and this is potentially why he was such a good player, potentially why he's such a good coach, he is nothing if not consistent. He is nothing if not, he sets his standard, he expects it, and he uses similar mechanisms and coaching techniques to get his players going. And when he thinks his best players are not living up to their talent, he does not shy away from coaching in the media. He will give quotes to the media that he knows his guys will hear, that he knows his guys will hear about and be passed to them, and he did it again last night. Here he is criticizing what he calls his top guys.
Well, first of all, they played a good game. You have to give them credit. So let's not take that away. But we stunk. So, you gotta, our top guys got to come, and that includes everybody. There's a lot of top players here that were not good tonight, and if we're gonna win, we have to have those guys being top guys. They got to look the part, and it just hasn't been there.
Few things about this. One, Rod has forgotten more about coaching and hockey than any of us combined will ever know. But I do think I can decipher one genius part of, and by the way, like that darn near exact phrase he's used last year, he's used at times throughout his career. Calling out the top guys is genius. You don't say it by name, right? So you're not embarrassing anybody, you're not disrespecting anybody, but also you're kind of appealing to their ego. Because you know, and I'll say this about every professional athlete, every single professional athlete at the sports where there's incredible amount of competition. I don't know how difficult it is to become a pro biathloner, right? With the skiing and the shooting. Like if we're talking pro NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA, soccer, whatever, golf. If we're talking pro sports with a ton of competition, everyone that makes it to the league, everybody that makes it to the show, to the big leagues, wildly ego-filled. Because you don't get there if you don't. The 12th guy on the bench in the NBA was scoring 37 a game in high school in the big games, right? Like it's you are ego-filled to think you can make it, because the only way you make it is by putting all your eggs in that basket and going aggressively for it, and you don't make that decision if you're not like, yeah, I'm part of the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of athletes on the planet. So when Rod Brindamore says you need the top guys to step up, the top guys didn't play well, the top guys aren't playing well enough, everybody on that team probably thinks he's talking to them. Outside of maybe, like fourth liners or something. But everybody's going like, well, he's singling out me and Aho again. It's like, really? That's the top, but it's how they think. So you're kind of motivating the whole team while also singling out your top line or your top scorers or your top, paid guys, whatever you're looking for.
When you're holding your top guys accountable, you are holding everyone accountable.
It's the legendary Patriots thing, right? Tell the Truth Tuesdays, which, depending on who you talk to, could have been described as Bill Belichick bringing up the lowlights of Tom Brady to yell at him in front of the entire team just to set the tone of, I will yell at Tom Brady. You're darn right I will yell at you. I mean, I've said this a billion times. I don't have to say it again, but I will. I'm a big fan of Rod Brindamore, the hockey coach, and that might be the silver lining of all of this is last night was a rough game to watch. Like I said, they did not do a great job. But I am confident that those games grab the attention of the team, and Rod Brindamore knows what to do when that attention is locked in. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a doozy of a show for you, including reactions to the college football playoff rankings coming up, or I should say, which came out yesterday evening. And I have a question. Why do they hate the Atlantic Coast Conference? What did the Atlantic Coast Conference do to the college football playoff? Is there some kind of revenge they're fulfilling? Stick around next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
A walk-off touchdown for Jordan Moore! Do you believe it?
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I call games in Seattle and around the country, but I still spend a lot of time right here in the Triangle. When I'm here to see my family around the holidays, we always head to Buffalo Brothers. It's my go-to spot for stocking stuffers. Now through December 24th, buy a $40 gift card for someone special and get a $10 gift card for you. Now that's a deal, baby. Visit any of their 5 locations at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man. Now I want wings.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text MAINE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text MAIN to 321-321. That's MAINE to 321-321.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I don't know how anyone that is a fan of, that cares about, that lives in the area of, that is any way indirectly or directly connected to the Atlantic Coast Conference is not a little upset. Is not somewhere on the upset spectrum from a little upset to furious and throwing things. I don't know how you're not after watching what happened to Miami, which is weird because normally I don't care about Miami. Normally, kind of rooting for Miami to get beat. But it is, a sibling or a cousin relationship when you're in the same conference as someone, which is, I want to beat you. But if someone else starts picking on you from outside our circle, now we have to bind ourselves together and fight back. Miami got messed over. And SMU, who is a brand new family member, but a family member nonetheless for the ACC.
They married in, but they're still family.
They're being set up to be messed over. They married in yet. The wedding was like 2 weekends ago. Now he's calling in a favor. You're an in-law that just joined the family. Now you're saying like, hey, I'm moving. Can you move a couch? All right, fine. because you're family. That's how I feel defending SMU. But SMU is being set up to get a like mafia movie whacked. Right, that ominous part of the movie where everybody knows somebody's about to show up at the restaurant and there's not going to be a violin in that violin case, and that's what it's looking like. Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC, put out a statement. By the way, actually, I don't know if I've said where the rankings actually are. College football playoff rankings came out last night. Oregon, I'm going to just read them in order. I'm just do that. You can keep up. If not, whether they're exact or not isn't that important, but I'll read them for you in case you're curious. Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State. That's 6th for Ohio State. Tennessee, 7th. SMU, 8th, followed by Indiana, Boise in the top 10 at 10. Alabama at 11. That's one to keep in mind. And 12, Miami. Just missing the top 12, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Arizona State. Almost said Florida State. They just missed the top 12, did Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State. Yeah,
by
Florida
about
State.
300.
Yeah. Just missed it by about 130.
15th was Arizona State, was what I was trying to say. So here's the statement, at least in part, from the commissioner of the ACC. We are certainly pleased that SMU moved up in the rankings and that the committee continued to recognize the Mustangs' incredible season, which should unequivocally earn them a playoff spot, regardless of this week's outcome. SMU will be playing in the ACC championship against Clemson. With that said, we are also incredibly shocked and disappointed that Miami dropped 6 spots to number 12. Miami has more wins and fewer losses than the team directly ahead of them and a dominant victory over an SEC. Then he goes into the details. 2 parts of this. The Miami dropping 6 spots from 6 to 12. Could have told you that was going to happen. And dropping more than Ohio State. Ohio State had a worse loss than Miami. Yes, bad, awful. Miami almost certainly now not in the college football playoff when I believe they should. Having them below Alabama is a problem. We'll get into that problem. SMU, 8, it's not high enough. Here's why it's not high enough to feel confident that if they lose, they won't fall out of the college football playoff. You have to be in the top 11 if you're an ACC school because there's an auto bid going to a conference champion that'll come outside the top 12. So 8, if you lose to Clemson, you drop to 12, you're done. You're out. Thank you, but no thank you. You can go to a bowl game that no one's going to watch. Your players will opt out. That's an issue. And Ward Manuel, the spokesperson for the committee, did say that conference championship games will adjust some teams and how they're seen by the committee.
Those who are not playing, we will not adjust those teams because they don't have another data point, obviously. But in terms of those who are playing, how they'll move, if they'll move at all. If you remember 2 years ago, TCU lost in their conference championship game and didn't move. They stayed at 3. So we could do that, or we could adjust depending on the outcomes of the game.
I hate this for 1,000 reasons. Hate it for, first of all, no more data points? So you're saying data points can only come in games? Remember last year when Florida State didn't make it to the college football playoff because their quarterback got hurt?
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish this on anybody. What if Jalen Milroe tears something in practice? Quarterback of Alabama. If an injured quarterback is enough for Florida State to not go through, why are you done with data points for everyone not playing in it? The things you've taken into account all the way up till this point involved production in games and a billion other things. What about strength of schedule? What if you beat Clemson and Clemson goes out there and rolls SMU? Now suddenly does that win look better and boost you, or are you not moving anybody because they're not playing football? There's a bunch of things you've taken into account up to this point other than games to turn around and say we're not changing our opinion on anyone that's not playing games. It's foolish. And we could get into the details, and that's partially what Jim Phillips, the commissioner, started doing. This team has beaten this many teams and this many ranked teams. We could do it with Alabama and Miami. Alabama at 11 with no more games to play is a problem because they can't move up or down. They can't get better or worse now that they've said that about the data points. They're not in the SEC championship, so they're at 11. They feel like they're in. They have 3 losses, 2 of them to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. The Oklahoma loss was 24-3. That's bad.
Yeah.
Oklahoma has played 5 ranked teams, lost to them all, except for smoking Alabama. Miami is a better team based on what they've put on. I'm not saying who you think would win in a game. I'm talking about the results, which is not objective. They're a better team than Alabama. But arguing details and doing all of that and doing the, I'll again read part of the statement. Miami has more wins and fewer losses than the team directly ahead of them, a dominant victory over an SEC team whose late season surge includes a win over number 13 Ole Miss. Moreover, with the details, I did it, he did it, you did it. You can tune into any sports media show in college football country and hear the details. They don't matter. And I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it because it's going to feel good for me, and I just need to get it off my chest.
Get 'em.
I told you so. Go back to the very, very, very first college football rankings that came out this year. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Miami was at 3 or 4. BYU was at 7. At the time, they were both undefeated, and BYU had a better win. Okay? And during Ward Manuel, the spokesperson's media availability after that very first college football playoff ranking came out, was asked, why is Miami multiple spots ahead of BYU when their resumes are wildly similar? And his response was, we like the explosiveness of Miami's offense, and it came down to the eye test. I liked the eye test. He used the term eye test. Now, at that time, right, I'm an advocate for the ACC. We're here in the Triangle in North Carolina. I love the Atlantic Coast Conference. The ACC was benefiting from the eye test there. Miami was the bigger brand. Miami was the, versus BYU, was the flashier, better for business example. So they got boosted, and then they blamed it on the eye test. And my antennas went up then because I said, if they can treat BYU like that, they can treat the ACC like that. And they won't have to give any factual, concrete information. They won't have to give any real reason for their decisions. They can just lean back and say, eye test. So now Alabama's over Miami. And I'm going, I hated this when the ACC was benefiting from it because I knew they were going to use it to get the SEC or the Big Ten over the ACC in a more crucial moment. Ward Manuel, the spokesperson, was asked why Alabama over Miami.
What it came down to is, as we evaluated both teams and looked at how they ranked, obviously we think highly of both teams. One's at 11, one's at 12. But what it really came down to is Alabama is 3-1 against current top 25 teams, and Miami is 0-1. Alabama is 6-1 against teams above 500, and Miami's 4-2. Both have had some losses that weren't what they wanted out of those games. But in the last 3 games, Miami has lost twice. And so for us, in evaluating their body of work, we felt that Alabama got the edge.
Hate it. Do you know why? When he was talking wins, when he was talking the stats that benefited Alabama, he had details. He had, they're 4-2 against this and 5-1 and against this. And then he got to the losses, the bad losses that would have benefited Miami, and he went, yeah, they both have losses they don't love. Oh, you only bring out details for one of them, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You can bring out numbers and stats when it helps you, but when you get to the other part, you just kind of acknowledge it in passing. You do what you want. The same way Miami was over BYU in that first ranking, they just chose Alabama over Miami because they want to. And do you know what it reminds me of? One time, when I was, I don't know, actually the player is, the person I'm telling the story about is now a coach at UConn football. We were in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. This is probably, we're 15 years old. And it was call your own fouls. It's like for a charity thing. And no disrespect to my buddy. He's a much better athlete than I ever was. He called a lot of fouls. Okay, every time he drove to the bucket, our ball up top, and one, our ball up top. And And I remember after the game, my dad had watched it 3-on-3. He called me over. He goes, "You guys, listen. You guys got to get better at the foul thing." I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I know he called a lot." He goes, "Tell him don't call anything for the first 8 points, because then if you absolutely need a foul call with game point because you're playing to 11, You've already established the rules. You're like, hey, I let most go, but that one was bad. You're setting them up for the end of the game, and it's like in competition, that's how it works, right? Like the things you do set the precedent, and now everyone believes you, and da. So the College Football Playoff Committee, way back in the very first ranking, was looking at the ACC, going, "Listen, we're letting things go. We're letting things fly. We like you." So then when it comes down to game point, they can call any foul they want and look at us and go, "Hey, it worked for you last time, right? We let it go when Miami – we just flaunted Miami to the top 3 in that first one, right? Miami can't complain now. We've already established that this is kind of a willy-nilly game." I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. When the results and the details don't matter, that's kind of the only thing that should. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And I'll just say this, one last 20-second disclaimer. That's my internal thought. My external thought is it is a really tough job. I do not envy the College Football Playoff Rankings Committee. I'm sure no matter what they put up, somebody would be mad. But I think when you base your opinions off facts, logic, and results, it's much easier to stand by your opinions without someone leaving unsatisfied. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need a little bit of positivity in our life, a little bit of optimism in the world of so much complaints.
Yeah, we do.
Let's get to the Dean's List. Let's honor a college player from the area or team from our group that we cover that is doing something great. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. This holiday season, why not give a gift that truly shines? At Bailey's, we believe in making every moment special, and our carefully curated selection of fine jewelry is sure to bring joy to your loved ones. From stunning diamonds to designer jewelry and luxury watches, we have the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Gift the magic of a Bailey box and make this Christmas unforgettable. Visit us today in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox, my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
This is what breaking news on WREL sounds like.
A teenager accused of murder in custody tonight.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5.
When seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public.
When your safety is the priority.
Breaking news right now, a large fire in eastern Wake County. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Watch WREL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I've calmed down after getting real mad about the college football playoff. I'm ready to do the Dean's List, but I have to respond to somebody that reached out on Twitter. David on Twitter, David Jones, frequent listener, frequent tweeter at me. You can as well. I welcome the back and forth at Donnelly Sports on Twitter, or X, I guess is what we call it now. I don't know if I'll ever not call it Twitter. It's like having a different brand of tissue and going like, pass me a Kleenex? Sorry. It's just what I call it.
These are puffs, sir.
It's just what I call it. It is a facial tissue. David said, I'm sorry. All SEC teams that are in the playoffs, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss would beat SMU, Clemson, and Miami. SEC just a better conference in football. I could argue with that as a statement and say, I don't know if they would. And, hey, this team matches up with that team pretty well. But I'm not even going to do that. Do you know why? Because it doesn't matter if I agree with you. It doesn't matter if you think that. I bet you would have said Alabama would beat Oklahoma. I bet you would have said Clemson would beat Louisville. I bet you would have said Miami would beat Georgia Tech. Like, you could go back and say would beat.
Alabama would beat Vanderbilt.
Would beat if it were who David or who I or who the committee decided they thought would beat a team, we wouldn't have to play any games. It's not who would beat, it's who did beat.
Yeah, then you just have Vegas decide.
We don't have to imagine how a team would do against teams because we just watched them all play 12 games where they proved to us how they would play in football games. If Alabama put the effort out there that would not beat Oklahoma, that would not beat a whole bunch of teams that are not in the college football playoff, including the ones you mentioned. It's not I hate, Vegas would have put this team favored. I'm like, great. Underdogs win all the time. The results have to matter. Now, this is going to be a tough transition here because I just defended the ACC against the SEC, and my Dean's List is going to make that even more difficult. Let's jump to the Dean's List. Dean's List, we take a... Is the bell all right in there?
Yeah, it's midweek. It's Wednesday.
Morning announcements, getting a little confused.
Yeah, it happens.
Dean's List is a portion of the show where we look at the college plethora of sports that we cover. The ACC, the Triangle, the State, Power 5, Group of 5, Major, Mid-Major, all of it. And we highlight someone or someone's, right? One person, a group, a couple people that deserve the Dean's List, right? The highest honor, the honor roll. I know you don't love the state that this team exists in.
Go on.
But they're doing the dirty work for everyone in the ACC right now.
All right.
Clemson basketball makes the Dean's List today. Clemson men's basketball for a few reasons. First, they ended the shutout. The ACC SEC challenge is going on right now, okay? Men's basketball, the number one team and the number one team from the conferences play. Number two, they play each other, and you go all the way on down. And yesterday they played, 10 games in the SEC ACC challenge. Reverse it. ACC SEC challenge. There's more tonight, by the way, and we're going to get to it because there are some doozies. But last night there were 10 games played. I'm going to run them quickly through for you, and I think you'll catch a pattern. Syracuse lost at Tennessee. Georgia Tech of the ACC lost at number 21 Oklahoma. Wake Forest of the ACC lost at number 22 Texas A&M. Louisville of the ACC lost at home versus 23 Ole Miss. Miami of the ACC lost at home versus Arkansas. Notre Dame of the ACC lost at Georgia. Cal of the ACC, brand new, lost at Missouri. Boston College of the ACC lost at home versus South Carolina. Florida State, they don't want to be, but they are a part of the ACC, lost at LSU. 9 losses, and the glowing 10th game where the Clemson Tigers, the men's basketball team, who also don't want to be a part of the ACC, but they are currently, not only won at home against their SEC counterpart, they won at home versus the number 4 team in the country, the Kentucky Wildcats. They ended the shutout. They got a ranked win, which the ACC desperately needs to boost all of the strength of schedule and secondary strength of schedule numbers. You need teams to win ranked games, and Duke and UNC, for all of them, hey, we schedule all of the toughest games. They're not winning many of the toughest games early on. They're being battle-tested by it, but they're not winning them. And Clemson went out there and got the W. Seth Greenberg, former ACC coach, now in the media with ESPN, explained why Clemson was able to beat Kentucky.
I thought that the pressure of the game a little bit got to him. And I also think the game plan for Brad Brownell was simple. I talked to Brad today. He said, we got to basically slow their transition. Check. We got to rebound the basketball. Check. We got to run them off the three-point line. Check. And then we've got to find a way to get some easy baskets. Check. Everything he wanted to do, they did.
I really enjoyed the Clemson win. You know what? There are 2 stats that stand out to me about the Clemson win over Kentucky. And it's maybe something that some other ACC teams can learn from, and then there's one that absolutely no ACC teams could learn from. The first stat is all 5 of Clemson's starters scored between 9 and 13 points. That is how you beat a team that likely has more like NBA talent than you, right? Instead, it's hey, I can't beat you with one punch, but I'm going to hit you with jabs from all angles. 9 and 13. Just get to near double figures, maybe a little over. If all 5 of your guys are able to do that, and a couple guys off the bench have some timely buckets, you can beat a team with more raw ability than you. The other is Ian Shefflin. If you haven't watched a Clemson basketball game, watch a Clemson basketball game, and I'm going to give you the key to making it a wildly fun game. Just watch Ian Shefflin. And if you're wondering which one he is the one that looks like
you'll know. Headband.
Chunky. Like not chunky's the wrong word. Heftier than a basketball player normally is.
Yeah. He's got a little extra.
He looks like the 6'7" offensive tackle from a high school team that's playing basketball just because they're 6'7", and the basketball coach is like, soon as football's over, come on over.
Hey, great chance to work on your footwork.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is you need to cross train. He's a big boy. And the funniest part, the reason why it's so entertaining, is he hustles like he's, the coach's son on that high school basketball, and who's a freshman and is 5'9". He hustles like crazy. Last night he had 11 points. The stat line, it's the second funniest stat line of the week, only to Jameis Winston on Monday Night Football. The second funniest stat line is Ian Shefflin. He had 11 points in the game. Like I said, all starters between 9 and 13. It took him 20 shots to get there. 11 points. He went 4 of 20 from the field. He is a big boy, spends most of his time down low. Somehow he went 1 for 8 from 3. That's the equivalent of Jameis Winston closing his eyes and throwing a deep ball. He's just like, here we go.
Straight pickup hoops right here.
It gets funnier. He played 36 minutes, 20 shots, that makes sense. 20 rebounds. He had 11 points on 20 shots and had a 20 and 10 night with not points being the 20. He had 20 rebounds and 11 points. Throw in 4 assists for good measure, because that's hilarious. And then here's my favorite part. He did it all, no fouls. That is a high usage. How do you get 20 rebounds without once getting a loose ball foul? Without once going over someone's back? And also, he was one of the defenders that helped hold former Wake Forest and University of Delaware big man Andrew Carr to 5 points for Kentucky, which easily could have been the difference. If Andrew Carr got going in any way like he did against Duke, or we've seen in other games this year, they probably win. Ian Shefflin, Dean's List, along with the rest of your team for the Clemson Tigers. I just respect ending a shutout. I respect that, right? You're getting 9-zippied by the SEC in the ACC SEC Challenge. Yeah, you're not going to win the challenge. Mathematically eliminated. I respect the hustle to not get shut out. It's one of my favorite, pure determination stories. I've probably told it on air before, but I'll tell it again because, as I said, it's one of my favorite. My last high school football game, I was going on to play in college, but everyone, high school, there's something special about it. Playing a state playoff game, I broke my hand. Shattered it, right? Got screws in there to this day. And I was the quarterback. So obviously, just by position, I'm not saying I was anything special, but by position, that makes it tough for your team to win. Didn't play in the second half, right? Hand wrapped, all that kind of stuff. And one of my really good friends was our fullback. He was fullback, middle linebacker. We're talking football guy. Okay, went on to play Division III football for the love of the game. Just football guy. We're getting beat, right? I'm not playing offense, isn't moving the ball. Probably 28-0. He came over to me before one of the last drives of the game and said, I'd been there 2 years. He goes, have we ever been shut out? I said, I don't think so. Not since I transferred in. Maybe you guys have before. I don't think so. He goes, I don't think I've ever been shut out in high school. I was like, well, you better look at the scoreboard, bud. It's 28-zippy, and we're running out of time. He went over to coach, had some kind of conversation. I assume, hey, coach, I've never been shut out. Give me the ball. He went out there and down 28-0, had a 12-minute drive by himself. Fullback, 4 yards at a time. We ended up losing probably 31-7. But we got that 7, and we did not get shut out. And he was bloodied, and he was bruised, and I had a broken hand, and he looked at me like, we did not get shut out. That's Clemson. That's Ian Shefflin. That's the Dean's List for the Clemson men's basketball team. Let's quickly get to cons and cons. It is a packed day of basketball. We can just run.
Defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Confidence and concerns. It's a packed day for basketball. UNC, NC State, Duke, all in action in that ACC challenge, ACC SEC challenge. So we'll touch on that throughout this, but the structure is very simple. We name a team. We name what we're most confident in, what we're most concerned about for that squad. We start with the concerns, and we'll start with UNC. UNC men's basketball, what are you most concerned about, Dennis?
Lack of versatility with their lineup. That's my biggest concern. We saw last year there are different times where Harrison Ingram can go down and play the 4. Pretty much that's how game started. He played the 4. You had Cormac Ryan with his size playing the 3 at 6'5" as a shooter. But if you needed to go big, you could put Harrison Ingram at the 3. You could put Cormac Ryan at the 2. You can kind of go with a bigger lineup, whether you had Jalen Washington or Jalen Withers down there with Armando Bacot. You had the versatility in your lineup. And also, when Harrison Ingram was playing the 4, he could stretch the floor as well and step outside and shoot threes. Versatility with your lineup. They don't have that this year. It's big guys and guards. There's no true wing on the team. That's something that they lack. They don't have versatility with their lineup, at least from what I've seen so far.
I didn't think I would be going here with my concern.
Okay.
RJ Davis's three-point shooting.
Yeah.
He has not been a good shooter from three this year.
He is not.
Last year, he was elite. I have the stats. 40% shooting on almost 8 attempts per game. 7.7 attempts per game. 40%, 39.8. That's really gosh darn good. This year, it's been bad. 27.5% shooting on nearly the same amount of attempts per game. This is the rock and the hard place for UNC. You can't tell him to stop. He's RJ Davis. He might be the best shooting guard in the country. But also, something has got to give. Either he has to shoot better from three or he has to shoot less from three, because you can't be that, and you can't take 7.5 threes a game at 27.5% shooting, especially when what Dennis said is true. You don't have that massive, big-bodied rebounder who takes missed threes and turns them into second chance points. You have to shoot a higher percentage, or else it's going to be really tough to overcome in the games against good teams. So I think the best option is just start shooting better, RJ.
Yeah.
But, if I were I Dream a Genie, I'd wiggle my nose and make it happen, but I don't have those powers. That's a reference from well before I was born. What are you most confident in for UNC?
My confidence is still with their speed. I think that's the identity of that team. It's been the identity of that program for decades. Just the speed and pace in which they play. I think the backcourt, when you have Cadeau, Davis, and Seth Trumbull all out there, all three guys can handle the ball and push in transition.
My confidence is the freshman coming alive.
Okay.
Watch that Michigan State game. 18 points for Drake Powell, 14 for Ian Jackson. I thought, and I still think he will, Ian Jackson, big-time player, going to be really good. Drake Powell needs to be featured. He is a freak athlete. And then he went 4 of 6 from 3 against Michigan State. Get him the ball. And he's Super Davis's cousin.
Yeah.
Got to have a high basketball IQ, right?
Take care of the fam.
Let's jump to Wake Forest. Wake Forest, most concerned about the Wake Forest men's basketball team. Dennis, what do you have?
They don't have a true point guard. Boobie Miller gone. They don't have a true point guard, and you're putting the ball into Hunter Salas's hands a lot more as being a ball-dominant player as opposed to working off ball.
Mine is their I was trying to think of the best way to say this, so let me know if it's understandable, if it's easy to comprehend. They are over-dependent on stars. If Efton Reed has a migraine, or Hunter Salas has an off shooting night, or Cameron Hildreth has to walk off a rolled ankle, if any of those guys isn't like clicking, it seems like they take a massive step back.
Yes.
And that's a compliment to those guys, but also you got to be able to go a little bit with one of them. Like, if they missed 2 games because they got the sniffles, you got to be able to not go in the tank. If somebody rolls an ankle and they need to go into the tunnel and do some jumping jacks, you need to be able to not lose that section, by 6. What are you confident in for Wake Forest?
Hunter Salas is going to keep you in games because that dude can just score. He's going to keep you in games. Simple as that.
I'm adding Trayvon Spillers to that.
Okay.
Transfer from App. This situation is what every mid-major fears because it makes so much darn sense. He goes to App State out of JUCO, leads App in points and rebounds. He's all Sun Belt. He jumps right to Wake, immediately translates that skill set with better competition, better exposure, probably a little bit more fun for him. And he's averaging 11 and 10. It just makes so much sense that App State can't even be mad, right? It's like, all right, you went to the ACC and you're still putting up a double-double. That's probably good for you. But mid-majors have to just be hating that because he just left and he's a double-double guy. So I do like what Spillers is doing. NC State, what are you most concerned about for the NC State Wolfpack coming off 2 straight losses heading into their game against Texas tonight?
Shooting efficiency, especially from 3. They're not a good 3-point shooting team right now. They're under 30% on the season. They have not, outside of BYU, actually BYU is the highest they shot from behind the arc at 39.1%. They do not shoot well from 3.
And by the way, DJ Horn was, I think, 4th in the league in shooting 3-point shooting percentage last year, just above RJ Davis at 40.2. Just because I was looking up those stats earlier. So they had shooters. Got to replace them. Which plays into mine. It's more theory than concrete. Do they have a main character? Do they have anyone with that energy? Do they have anyone with You can't have a band with all bass players. You need a lead singer. And that's not to say any of them are bad or can't score or can't rebound or they don't have raw talent. But anyone that's watched sports, played sports, covered sports, coached sports, you know that certain players have the je ne sais quoi, the it factor, the whatever you want to call it, the unexplainable. Last year, I mean, I don't know, it might be personified in DJ Burns, but DJ Horn had it as well. I'm not sure they have one this year, which is weird because it's like having a living room with no television. Where do you point your furniture? Right? It's you need a focal point. What are you confident in for NC State?
I love the athletes that they have on their team because it gives them the ability to press, which is what Kevin Keats wants to do. They have the guys that can do it. And to me, especially when you can have guys like Huntley Hatfield and Ben Middlebrooks rotating as the 5, those two guys are really good athletes as well. I think it's, to me, their ability to press.
My confidence is similar, or it kind of brings that into account. My confidence is it's still early and you knew there would be an adjustment period. It's not just new players into the system, the transfers, the young guys. It's not just new players. It's a different system, right? We talked with Casey Morcell about it. Keats wants to run. He wants to press. He wants to get shots up quick. He wants to get in transition. Last year, with their skill set, their personnel, they couldn't really do that. Not when they were playing well. So they're changing their system in addition to working in a bunch of new players. If preseason you're like, yeah, it's probably going to take us 20 games to get into a rhythm, then you don't panic before 20 games, right? You're just confident going, we're figuring it out. And finally, Duke basketball, they play tonight in a top 10 matchup. They're 9, Auburn 2, Cameron Indoor. What are you concerned about for Duke basketball?
My concern is that their top guys are still so super young, and they just don't have the experience yet. We've seen it in late game situations a couple times. That's the big concern. When do you learn that? When do you learn to handle it?
I mean, it's almost the same. It's just I didn't single it out for their youth. It's late game execution.
Yeah.
They've had 2 close games this year that they've lost. Number 4 Kentucky at the time. They're like 16 now. And number 4 Kentucky, but they've lost, so I think they will fall. And number 1 Kansas. I have possessions that I want to focus on real quick. Against Kentucky, Cooper Flagg turnover with 12 seconds left in a tie game. Cooper Flagg turnover with 5 seconds left while down 2 points against Kentucky. Against Kansas, Cooper Flagg went 1 of 2 from the line with 1:38 left, making both would have tied it up. Obviously changed the way that game went. Cooper Flagg turnover with 48 seconds left while down 1 against Kansas. Con Knippel turnover with 3 seconds left while down 1 with Kansas. If any of those plays changes, any of them, they get at least 1 win. They have to be better in late game execution. Doesn't matter what you do for the first 46 minutes if in those final clutch minutes you don't execute. And finally, confidence for Duke. What do you have?
I love their experience coming off the bench. Now, guys are still trying to figure out roles. I like what Malik Brown brings defensively off the bench. I'm also a big fan of what Zion James can bring just in terms of his physical size and the versatility that allows him with their lineup defensively. 1 through 4 can switch with all screens when those guys are all on the floor. Like, they can do that. Just either have Malawash or Brown running as the 5, but everyone else can switch defensively. I like the experience coming off the bench for John Shire.
Mine, it's going to be this for a while. Raw talent.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier in the week. When Isaiah Evans comes off, can't even get off the bench in games against power conference opponents, and he appears to have an absolute flamethrower as a scorer and is electric, and every time he goes out there, people are comparing him to Brandon Ingram. That shows you how talented they are, and it's apparent every time you watch them. John Shire made a comment that he isn't calling plays right now. He wants them to read and react and get into motions and movements based on what the defense does. And he's like, no, that's going to be tough now, but that's how they will play if they reach their ceiling. So he's maybe forfeiting a little bit of production now in order to have elite production later, which is how Duke and UNC think, right? They're like, no, we're chasing national titles. We're not playing for seeding in the conference tournament right now. So they're swinging for the fences, and I want to see what that raw talent can get into. That's cons and cons. That's what we're confident and concerned about when it comes to the ACC basketball teams in the state of North Carolina. I'll tell you what every single football team across college football is concerned about when we come back for Football at 4. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The breakfast burrito gets a bad rap.
Now, is that technically a breakfast sandwich?
It's called a breakfast burrito. How is it the same thing as a breakfast sandwich? It's not.
Is burrito a sandwich when it comes to breakfast?
Burrito is not a sandwich.
I'm just asking.
A burrito is not a sandwich.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, boy, here we go.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is NASCAR a sport?
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending in Cary, with two exciting announcements. Back in 1950, my father and uncle moved to Detroit and opened Miller Brothers Realty, a business they ran for the next 50 years. Fast forward to 1996, and I moved my family to Raleigh and opened D&J Mortgage, a company I'd named after my children. And today I'm happy to announce my sons Daniel and Justin will be leading Miller Lending as we head towards 100 years in real estate and lending, all the while following the one basic principle I learned growing up in that environment. Always treat your customer as you'd want to be treated yourself. Now, while Miller Lending has long been associated with our popular no closing cost program, I'm also excited to announce the opening of our purchase money division with a strong emphasis toward helping first-time homebuyers navigate the mortgage process. So whether you're buying a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, call Miller Lending and experience the benefit of working with a locally owned family business. In Cary, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift, or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Experience our Raleigh tradition. Head to Amedio's Italian Restaurant, a family favorite for over 60 years. From weekly specials to their famous homemade recipes, Amedio's uses only the freshest ingredients. Need a touchdown for your tailgate? Amedio's offers delicious takeout, perfect for cheering on the Wolfpack. Or they can host your private party. Amedio's even caters. Amedio's Italian Restaurant, Raleigh's Taste of Italy since 1963. Visit AmediosRestaurant.com for details.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at Autobell.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Our wind shifting this afternoon to southerly will help to warm our temperatures up. It'll be warmer than yesterday with a high of 51 degrees under sunny skies, and we'll keep it above freezing tonight, just barely, with a low of 35. Tomorrow, 55 under mostly sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 308 points today to 45,014. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Football 4 is a concern for every college football team, regardless of how much money you have or how good you were this year, or bad you were this year, middle of the pack you were this year. It is the transfer portal. I said it yesterday, but obviously we focus on the triangle teams here. I don't care which one you are, what situation you're in. If you're NC State, UNC, Duke, who's having a really, really good year, you should be afraid of the portal. You should also be trying to use the portal to your advantage, but you should be afraid of the portal. NC State guys, some of them already leaving. Casey Concepcion, the biggest noteworthy one, and they're leaving because this season wasn't a good one for you. UNC, you're going to have a new coach, won't have any of the players' loyalty or trust. You're going to be shuffling players on and off your roster all offseason. I did think it's impressive. I think I saw they got 4 or 5 signees on early signing day today. UNC did. I'm going like, who are they committing to? They just love the Carolina Blue, want some Jordans, and say, hey, we'll figure out who's telling me where to run later. Right now, I just want to get on campus. Duke, you're good. Other teams want good players. If your players play really well, other teams will be willing to pay for it. You got to worry about the portal. First of all, let's start with this.
Okay.
Players can change their mind in return.
Sure.
UNC basketball knows all about it. Seth Trimble, anybody remember? Portal came out. Now he's having a great year.
Aiden White for NC State.
Very
defensive
similar.
back.
Very similar.
Same thing.
So when we talk about, expecting to leave, that just means they're in the portal. I mean, they're at the bar and they're not wearing their wedding ring. Could they come back and give it another shot? Sure. But they're out there seeing the options, which is not what you want from your good players. CJ Bailey coming back to State. As of yesterday, he put out a statement along with Savage Wolves, the NIL collective that supports NC State, saying, I'm back. I do have a question. I'm sure there was a good amount of money as part of the agreement. He's the true freshman quarterback for NC State. I believe would have had a ton of options if he put his name in the portal. My first question is, how? Like this, he's committed to Savage Wolves, the collective, and he's going to be around for his sophomore year in Raleigh. I'm going like, how can you say that so definitively? What? And I had the same question with KC Concepcion last year when a similar announcement was made. What is in place to ensure that he stays? What has he signed? What has he agreed to? Or is this you're just announcing like his handshake agreement with like, hey, you pay me money, I'll stay. Like there can't be. It's not allowed. Collectives can't put in the contract, we will pay you this amount of money as long as you continue to play for NC State. So I just don't like. I want to see I want to know because I don't get it. What's stopping him from cashing checks until he wants to leave? What's stopping him from like, yeah, I'm going to go to spring ball and then transfer? Like I don't know. I guess the transfer portal window openings maybe, and I'm going to take it as face value. I'm going to take it as he's going to be around. I have no reason to think he would lie to us, but I'm just saying I don't know what the agreement is. It's not like a letter of intent used to be. Comes down to two things. Now NC State can build around it. Quarterbacks are usually the first domino to fall. And once you commit, then, okay, now receivers want to play for you. Or now offensive linemen. Now defense is thinking, all right, they're going to put up some points. We can win here. Now coach, you become more attractive to a coach if you're looking to make changes. Quarterback is very important. It's why I think, 5-star quarterback recruits should be the first to commit in a recruiting class because it's like then they can turn around and start recruiting elsewhere. So CJ Bailey, get to work. Do you give him, let's say Robert Anae is not brought back. We're hypothetical. Do you give the quarterback a little like, hey, let's bring you into a meeting and see what you're looking for in a play caller?
Hey, like what works for you? Just curious.
I'm maybe misremembering this. I think Drake May was in a few of the conversations when Chip Lindsey was hired as OC.
I think so. Or at least they asked him.
Now, he was going to be, projected top 2 pick, so I'm not putting CJ Bailey in that category, but I will say this. CJ Bailey had a better true freshman year because Drake May was on the bench backing up Sam Howell. Casey Concepcion expected to hit the portal. He didn't have a good season sophomore year. This for NC State. He's a talent, and this hurts. On3 is reporting that the teams he'll be considering once the portal opens are Colorado, Alabama, Auburn, Penn State, and Kansas State.
Oh,
and
Kansas State's where his brother's going.
Yeah, I was going to say, and if you think, hey, one of those is not like the others on the recruiting trail, it's because his brother, a younger brother, just decommitted from NC State, committed to NC State. So I'm sure he will consider it because it'd be cool to play on the same team as his brother. But Colorado with Dion, Alabama, Auburn, and Penn State are for the best recruiters in the entire country. So that shows what the world thinks of his ability, right? They don't go after players that aren't really, really highly thought of, which means NC State is losing a really, really good player. For UNC, Connor Harrell expected to leave. Started a couple games at quarterback, was in a quarterback competition with Max Johnson. Max Johnson got the start at the beginning of the year. Max Johnson gets hurt. Connor Harrell took over for a handful of games, few games. Then he lost the job to Jacoby Criswell, who started the rest of the year. This is what I call, and I don't know why this will never leave my brain, when the lead singer of Coldplay divorced the Goop lady, I think it's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
They called it not a divorce. They called it a conscious uncoupling, which I thought was hilarious. But that is now what I call every time it's like a truly mutual, like it's just better for both parties. I go, this wasn't a breakup. It was a conscious uncoupling. It didn't work out. Connor Harrell didn't work out, right? He got his starts. It didn't live up to their expectations. He got benched. They're changing the coach. There's this, that, the other. I don't think either is upset that they will each get another chance at success with someone else, right? UNC, different coach, will bring in a different quarterback. Harrell can go somewhere else. I think he was Mr. Football in Alabama as a high schooler. So he'll have somewhere in the South that will give him a chance to go in and have success. I think they both just need a fresh start. Caleb Hood, we talked about this yesterday. There really haven't been many big names going into the portal or announcing they're going into the portal yet. Caleb Hood, running back, expected to leave UNC. I just want to point out that Caleb Hood had a little bit of a tough run. I don't know if he's a good running back, but I know that he might be really good and still be in the situation he's in after 4 years not having much production. I'm going to list the running backs that he sat behind while at UNC. Ty Chandler, who's getting run as a running back for the Minnesota Vikings. British Brooks, who has been in games but is hurt right now for the Houston Texans this year. And Omarion Hampton, who I think will soon be at least a second-round pick in the NFL draft. Caleb Hood might have been like a fourth-round pick and just never had the opportunity to be atop the depth chart. I'm not saying he is, but it's, there's context to everything. So he's on his way out. And I thought this was interesting. We haven't heard of any, at least I haven't, transfers out of Duke.
No. Remember a couple years ago, there weren't any after Mike Elko's first year. No one left.
Which plays into a few things. One, credit to Mike Elko that year. Credit to Manny Diaz this year for building something that people want to be a part of, or quickly turning something into something people want to be a part of. But secondly, I also think it's something for the brand at Duke. I think people that pick Duke out of high school might just love Duke, right? I always talk about most people I know that played college sports committed to the coach, and then you hope to fall in love with the school once you get there. Like you commit to your coach or your position coach or your coordinator, and you hope you find your core group of friends, and you love the environment, and you love the school, and eventually you wanna defend your alma mater with all fire in your belly. But it starts usually with you commit to the coach. I think for Duke it might be a lot of people grew up with that national brand where they're just like they're like they think they're committing to Coach K when they're committing to like Manny Diaz, and then when Manny or Mike Elko leaves, or you have an opportunity, someone calls you up and says, "Hey, such and such school is offering you X amount of dollars." They're like, "No, I'm a Duke guy." So there's a bunch of different things playing into this, but just know UNC's portal has already opened. As someone reminded me yesterday, I failed to mention on the show. Because when your coach is fired or there's a change of coaches, you get 30 days from that point to have an open portal. So it's already open for them. For State and Duke, it'll open up on the 9th, so 5 days from now. There's going to be more and bigger news in the next handful of days when it comes to the portal, and schools better be prepared for it.
I'm sure it's difficult on a day like today for coaches because today's also early signing day for high school recruits. It's just I didn't realize that possibly this player was going to transfer out, therefore I didn't recruit at a certain position, maybe more than what I thought because, like, oh, I have, like, for example, like if I have Casey Concepcion. He's a sophomore wide receiver. I probably don't need to go after a guy because someone's going to sit maybe for an extra year than they want to. And then now I'm like, well, now I'm scrambling to fill wide receivers. It's just it's got to be a lot harder for teams right now with the portal still not fully open and it's early signing day. Things are just going to get even more difficult.
It has never been more important to have a plan for every situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it should go, honestly. If you're the head coach, you get a call from a player, or you get a text from a player, or maybe you just see it on social media, or you see it in the actual portal saying, wide receiver number 8 going in the portal. This is how quickly it should go. Call wide receiver 8. Hey, what's going on? What happened? What are you unhappy with? What are you looking for? Right? Is there something we can do to bring you back? Hang up the phone? If you're watching on YouTube, I mimed like hanging up a phone like it's 1997. No, you don't even do that. You tap and you immediately dial. Hey, we're going to have to get that receiver. Bring me that list of 10 that we already have. You're calling your assistant down the hall. Bring me that list of 10. Let's start talking and planning a recruiting strategy for these guys because we need one of those 10 because wide receiver 8 is gone. It has to be that quick. It has to be, are you sure? There's no way we can bring you back? All right, good luck. Wish you the best. Keep my number if you need me. Hang up. Call. Hey, give me that list of the 10 replacements for wide receivers. We need to execute it now. It has to be that quick, and every school should have those lists. It cannot be a surprise to you at any point in time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The ladder challenge. Dennis, are you still cooking? It is
You're darn right.
Unreal. I don't think people are understanding how crazy the hot streak he is on. I've changed my ladder challenge, but let's be real. It's I'm the opening act for this one. We'll get things started, get you to the main attraction with the ladder challenge gambling picks coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Did you know that Bailey's Fine Jewelry has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for luxury designers, fine diamonds, and watches, but we also have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. We're celebrating making holiday gifting easy since 1948. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Total Wine and More has your holiday gifts. Bourbon for Dad, Cabernet for your sis, champagne for a co-worker, the world's greatest wines. With free curbside pickup, save money and time. Winter liqueurs like peppermint cream turn a festive cocktail into a holiday dream. Now that's a low price you'll shout out with glee when you shop Total Wine for them and for me.
Curbside pickup and delivery available, and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. The Fed has dropped rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low fives for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6% or you are in process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock in a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000. Lower rates and lower fees. Get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Loan Pronto, call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Shop Dell Technologies Cyber Monday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Cyber Monday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The ladder challenge. Dennis is up to how much money?
$99.
$99.
I believe.
So the ladder challenge started a couple months ago with the goal being both Dennis and I would each start with $10. Call it a unit, call it 10 units, whatever. We started with $10, real bets placed. And you would find a likely to win bet, a minus 500 to minus 1,000, somewhere in that range, bet every single show. And if you won, you would take the full payout, the stake plus the winnings, which, you know, if you start with $10, the first one might be like $11.17, then $13, and you just keep rolling it over. And if you kept winning, we'd see how far you could go. And eventually, you'd get to the point where you could really multiply your money. Dennis is on a heater. It's easily the longest heater any of us have been on since we started the ladder challenge, and he is up to nearly 10xing his initial money, 10 timesing his money.
I am up to $99.10 after starting with $10.
And this has all happened in the last 3 weeks. It's
basically
pretty darn quick for 10xing your money.
3 weeks and change.
And he's found a couple honey holes, shots on goal for individual players, teased puck lines in the NHL. But needless to say, if you've been tailing him, you've also 10 times your money. And if you put more in, you'd have way more cash. So, Dennis, to keep the heater alive, to keep the streak going, if you are rolling it over and keeping it rolling and not cashing out that $100, which one are you going with?
You know, a lot of different ways I can go with this one. You know, I can go with good old shots on goal. Maybe I can go with an alternate spread line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually probably going to take an alternate spread line on this one. So I got the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Nashville Predators. Predators, despite their talent, stink as a team. And believe it or not, the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing well. I'm actually going to tease the puck line to Toronto Maple Leafs plus 2.5 goals at home against the Nashville Predators. That is directly on the line at minus 1,000. So the $99.10 will win me $100. I'm sorry, $109. The $99.10 will win me $109.
Gosh, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
$100 is $100. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. $100 bill, you feel good with a $100 bill in your hand.
I do. By the way, I took about 2 seconds to research that.
I've changed my ladder challenge because the way that it originally started was we were going to do this each month, and when you reach the end of the month, you would start over. But that's asking a party to stop at 10:30. Dennis is on a heater, so he's going to roll right through from November to December. But that also means like our parameters for who's winning and who's losing were kind of skewed. So I've decided to accelerate my ladder challenge. Instead of going for minus 500 to minus 1,000, I'm taking the $13.27 that I have since I started in December.
Okay.
I'm going plus 100s.
What?
I'm going plus 100s.
What?
Because I can't win or lose because you started with $80 at the beginning of the month.
I mean, unless I lose today, then
when you lose, I'll start over. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
But I have to catch up a little bit to make it fair. So I'm going plus 100s every day and seeing how aggressive we can get, how crazy we can
Just
get.
trying to double your money
Every day. That's the move.
Okay.
1327 would obviously, I don't even have to really tell you how much the payout is, just times 2, right? 2654. That's what I'm going for. And the bet is Cooper Flagg to score 21 plus versus Auburn tonight. So he needs to score 21 or more.
Okay.
I looked up the leading scores because you do no research and I do too much.
Mhm.
The leading scores against Auburn in every game this year, there's only one that's not a perimeter player, and it came in the first game of the year. They had 8 points off the bench against Vermont. For all like real games, it's been a perimeter player. You're looking at like 6 foot to 6'5", and they're scoring 23, they're scoring 19, they're scoring 27, but all perimeter. I don't think they've seen a Cooper Flagg on the perimeter who's 6'9" and plays like a guard. I think he's going to have the opportunity there. He doesn't have to go down low and knock heads with Johnny Broome, their best player. Flagg averages just 15.9 points per game, which is why I think 21 plus is plus money. But he averages 21 versus their 3 ranked opponents. He takes more shots against the better teams. Give me Cooper Flagg to score 21 plus versus Auburn tonight in a massive game at Cameron Indoor.
All right.
And when that hits, I'll have $26.54, and I'm coming for you with just breaking rules and taking more risky bets. That's the ladder challenge as we do it here on The Drive. Now, let's jump into, as we do every Wednesday, Hit It and Quit It. We line up the biggest stories in sports. We hit it. We quit it. We move on to the next. Today is supposed to be, we are waiting anxiously. I wonder if they're doing a recount.
They might be.
For the ACC Football Awards. We are expecting, really any minute now, like 20 minutes ago, the announcement for ACC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Rookie of the Year. But they have not announced them as of yet. So we will continue refreshing. We will continue checking our inboxes. But that was what we were going to start Hit It and Quit It with. So we're just going to kind of preemptively quit it and move to some basketball. Let's talk ACC-SEC Challenge. Yesterday, the ACC-SEC Challenge in basketball started. Now, I want to be clear about something. I love the ACC-SEC Challenge. I think every conference should be required to have a challenge like this because it just gives us interesting non-conference games.
Mm-hmm.
You pick a conference that you see as your equal, and you say, hey, every year for the next 10 years, let's block out a day on the calendar and, meet in the parking lot after school and fight. That's what I want. The issue is day one, SEC kind of knocked out the ACC. And as somebody, you hear me rant and rave about the college football playoff rankings. You hear me rant and rave about so much. I am somebody that believes in the scoreboard, right? I don't like subjectivity. I like facts and figures, and I like when things can be backed up. The SEC won 9 of 10 games in the ACC-SEC Challenge yesterday, which means even if Duke beats Auburn and UNC gets a big win tonight, why am I blanking on who they're playing? We've been talking about it all
about UNC?
Day. Yes.
Alabama,
number 10 in the country. The rematch
Sweet
from
16
the Sweet
match,
16.
yeah.
Mark Sears. I don't know why.
Top 20 matchup.
Yeah, top 20, and we can't say top 10 because of UNC, not Alabama. Who would have thunk? But even if UNC beats Alabama and NC State beats Texas, even with all of that, you still get boat raced in the overall SEC Challenge, ACC-SEC Challenge, which is not a great place to be. Right now, I don't know if everybody had the same experience. But you ever play Flip Cup? And in college, probably, right? When you're all of age and you're playing drinking games responsibly, one turn, and then before you get too tipsy, you're leaving. When you're playing Flip Cup, is there any worse feeling than when you're like the fifth person in your team and somebody early in your game on your team stinks and can't land the flip cup? So the people across the table have already finished all 5 and you haven't even gotten yours, and you're just like, oh, we lost. I guess I won't even drink the beer. I'm just going to stand here and wait for the next round. To me, that's kind of what happened to NC State, Duke, and UNC. Right? It's like, all right, SEC, ACC challenge. Let's get ready. Let's make sure we finish with our ranked opponents, right, going last so they can be clutch. UNC, Duke, and State from the Final Four last year. We'll put them at the end of the table. And then the other team finished their entire run of Flip Cup before they even got to start drinking. Except for the one bright spot. The Clemson Tigers beat number 4 in the country, Kentucky. Seth Greenberg on why Clemson, the only ACC school to get a win, was able to beat Kentucky.
I thought that the pressure of the game a little bit got to him. And I also think the game plan for Brad Brownell was simple. I talked to Brad today. He said, we got to basically slow their transition. Check. We got to rebound the basketball. Check. We got to run them off the three-point line. Check. And then we've got to find a way to get some easy baskets. Check. Everything he wanted to do, they did.
Do you know what I think is funny? You're bending over backwards there to not give any credit to Clemson. The pressure of the game got to Kentucky? Why would Kentucky be like, oh, no, this matchup with Clemson is so much pressure? When we played Duke in the Champions Classic, that was nothing compared to this matchup against Clemson. Just say Clemson played well. How about that? They made it tough on Kentucky. I'm being told in my headset that we do have ACC awards, so let's quit the basketball talk and jump into the football ACC postseason awards. What do you have for us, Dennis? I don't have it in front of me. I haven't gotten it.
Your ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Donovan Ezaraku, Boston College with 29 votes. Antoine Powell-Ryland from Virginia Tech, second with 14. Your Offensive Player of the Year.
Wait, so Ezaraku was the winner?
For Defensive Player of the Year?
Wow. Okay.
My choice.
16.5 sacks tracks. I mean, he's not an undeserving, even if he wasn't my pick. He is a worthy selection for Defensive Player of the Year.
Cam Ward, your Offensive Player of the Year with 59 votes. Second in voting was Omarion Hampton with 7. And your Player of the Year in the conference, Cam Ward with 59 votes. But also, I find this interesting. This is where I always find flaw with voters. Cam Ward was your Offensive Player of the Year at 59 votes. Second was Omarion Hampton with 7. Kyle McCord, Offensive Player of the Year, third. Kevin Jennings, quarterback for SMU, with 1 Offensive Player of the Year vote.
That person's probably from Dallas.
So that's Offensive Player of the Year. But for the Player of the Year as the conference as a whole, Cam Ward, 59 first place votes. Kevin Jennings was second with 4. I'm like, wait a second. Only one person voted this guy for Offensive Player of the Year, but 4 people voted him for Player of the Year in the conference. Make it make sense. Omarion Hampton finished tied for second in Player of the Year in the conference with 4 votes.
I think he must play defense.
Maybe.
Is he a kicker? Did he have like a great punt or something that boosted his
he
value?
Kicks, returns. I don't know.
That is kind of interesting.
But Omarion Hampton tied for second for overall for Player of the Year and second in Offensive Player of the Year in the ACC.
I believe that is, quite frankly, Omarion Hampton and Cam Ward I believe they're both going to be All-Americans. They're both going to be among the top players, probably top 2, top 3 drafted at their position. They are tremendous talents. I think 1 and 2 was probably decided by which team did better. If UNC's team finished above Miami in the rankings, then I think Omarion Hampton would have gotten a lot of those. That's kind of the tiebreaker. They're both tremendous talents and statistically unreal. I don't know what to do here because I'm a sports radio host who agrees mostly with what we've learned from the ACC postseason. We went through yesterday the first, second, and third all-ACC teams, the honorable mentions. I mean, at most, there were little things to quibble with, and we reacted to those live on air, and even with a day to reflect, I still don't have any massive problems with their selections. Looking at the picks for Player of the Year, don't have any massive problems with it. I think I'm just going to quit those and move on to the next, which, do we have Rookie of the Years?
We have our ACC Rookie of the Year and also Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Isaac Brown, the running back from Louisville.
Again, worthy. Again, wasn't my pick, but worthy. It's there's, and this is partially why I get so mad at the college football playoff, is because having difference of opinions is fine. But when it comes to like a college football playoff, there can be two right answers to opinions. And in the college football playoff, that can't work. It can't be like, well, you think Alabama's over Miami. I think Miami's over Alabama. We're both right. Because, no, only one gets in and one gets to go live out their dream of playing in the playoff. With this, I do think there are multiple options that are good, right? I picked C.J. Bailey as offensive rookie of the year. Brown, the running back from Louisville. I think if you put either one of those, you have justification and more than enough credentials or clout and backup and statistical reasoning to make that choice.
So defensive rookie of the year goes to Sammy Brown from Clemson.
Okay.
Which is the linebacker that I chose. You chose O.J. Frederick from Miami, correct?
He was my third.
He was your third? Okay.
I went with I was trying to get a little love for Wake Forest. Their nickel, who's
that's right.
Again, my brain's not working.
C.J. Bailey did finish third overall in Offensive Rookie of the Year and third overall in just Conference Rookie of the Year as well. So C.J. Bailey did get votes for both Offensive Rookie of the Year and just Conference Rookie of the Year as well, finishing second behind Isaac Brown and Eli Holstein, the Pitt quarterback.
Oh,
Eli started from week one.
Transfer from Alabama.
Who I was thinking about possibly being my Rookie of the Year, but I went with Isaac Brown, the running back from Louisville.
I think they're and this is me just being, as we've talked about with the ladder challenge and everything else, I overthink things a little bit. I think there needs to be a true freshman award. Like Eli Holstein shouldn't be in the running to be the same newcomer award as C.J. Bailey. C.J. Bailey was playing high school football after algebra class when Eli Holstein was learning from the Alabama coaching staff last year. And now they're both up for Rookie of the Year together at the same position, playing against the same opponents. That doesn't seem fair. And I'm not saying that Holstein shouldn't be up for an award. I just think there should be, true freshman. Then you can go like sophomore of the year, junior of the year, senior of the year if you want. But I mean, you played college sports. I played college sports. You coach college sports. The difference in everything from your freshman year of college to your sophomore year of college is absurd. Just being in the weight room for an off season, or being used to going to class and being on your own. It's a completely different beast. So I think true freshmen that are in the running for Rookie of the Year or Newcomer of the Year, whatever publication you're looking at, they deserve extra gold stars because that's very impressive. No disrespect to Holstein. He was a very good player and, obviously had some massive statistical games. Anything else from the awards that we missed that we need to bring up?
We will get Coach of the Year tomorrow.
Coach of the Year tomorrow. Is that all we're waiting on?
That's it.
Wow. And college football playoff rankings on Sunday.
Yeah, and by Sunday we'll know where all the bowl games, all those kinds of things. We'll know it all on Sunday.
Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
You like that? You like that?
We had hoops tonight.
Got a whole bunch of them.
Got a whole bunch of it.
Which game you want to start with?
First game to tip off is North Carolina, so let's go there.
Let's do it. UNC kind of needs a win.
Yeah.
And I protect with my life the term must win. It's not a must win. But it is things would be a lot easier if you win game.
Is that must win, but kind of got to have it?
Yeah, it's somewhere below must win, but it's closer to that end of the spectrum. You don't want to fall out of the top 25. You started 9th. You're at 20 right now. If you lose and you don't get some at least style points in the loss, you probably fall out of the top 25. You don't have a good win yet. You've won the games that you obviously should, Elon, American, Hawaii, Dayton. Some close, but you won them all. You lost to number 1 Kansas, number 4 Auburn, and Michigan State. You need a big win. You need one. Just get one on your resume. Get off the schneid. Alabama ended your season in the Sweet 16, so go ahead and get a little revenge. Not the same, but a little bit. And we talked about it earlier. I talked about it earlier. R.J. Davis is down. He's not producing the way he did last season. Overall scoring from 21 points to 18. He's up in assists, which makes it go like, maybe that's it. He's just not hunting for his shot. Until you realize way down in three-point shooting percentage on the same amount of attempts. He just needs to get going. To which I say all of that. Could that all mean absolutely nothing? Yes. That could just be small sample size theater. It could just be you got to get time to get rolling. But would all the questions get much louder about those things if you lose tonight? Also, yes. Then you're looking at 500 through 8 games, and you're looking at all those things being put under a microscope. So not a must-win, but it would be, we wouldn't have to answer as many annoying questions if we won the game. It's that kind of game. What game should we go to next? Quit that, hit this.
Got him! Let's go down the road to Duke.
Let's do it. Duke hosting Auburn. This is a top 10 matchup. Number 2 Auburn at Duke, so it's in Cameron Indoor. Duke needs close games. And it's a weird thing to need because you do everything you can throughout every game to not be in a close game. You want to win comfortably. But Duke needs close games. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. They've found the troublesome part. Okay? Let me take this analogy for a walk. Tell me if you like it, Dennis. Have you ever done like the pink, it's like a little, the texture of like a sweet tart at the dentist or at the orthodontist, where it turns your whole mouth pink and then they tell you to brush your teeth?
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And then they look at you, and like after you're done brushing, they show you a mirror and they're like, oh, there's still pink up here. You need to do a better job brushing right there and all that kind of stuff. Duke kind of did that early this season with the Kansas, the Arizona, and the Kentucky game, where they're like, let's play some tough games early, and let's see where we're missing. Let's see where we need to work. Let's see where we need to brush better. And the thing they found, the part that was still bright pink after they brushed their teeth, was execution in one-possession games in the final minute. They're good. They're talented. Their defense is strong. They get high percentage looks. They seem to stay engaged. They do a lot of good. They're talented, but they've had 2 close games against Kansas and Kentucky, who are both top 5 teams in the country. As of right now, Kentucky will fall, but still. And it didn't work out. And I read them earlier. I'll read them for you again. Here are some of the lowlights. I'll just read them like this. Cooper Flagg had a turnover with 12 seconds left in a tie game versus Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Cooper Flagg had a turnover with 5 seconds left while down 2 points in that same game to Kentucky. Cooper Flagg went 1 of 2 from the line with 1:38 left versus Kansas at Kansas when 2 makes would have tied it up. Cooper Flagg turned over the ball with 48 seconds left while down 1 versus Kansas. And then Con Knipple, the other 5-star freshman, one of the other 5-star freshmen, had a turnover with 3 seconds left while down 1 versus Kansas. Those are all just not great late game execution. The hard part about it is now they know what they have to work on. They're not going to get that much practice at that particular part of basketball. Duke beat Arizona on the road. Big win. They won by 14. No late game execution practice other than playing out the shot clock and trying to shorten the game. There aren't many teams on their schedule that they'll keep it close with and be a one-possession game near the end. Auburn can. Auburn is undefeated. They have beaten nationally ranked Houston, Iowa State, UNC. Johnny Broome playing like an All-American. I accidentally learned this about Johnny Broome real quick. The last 5 games in the 3 main stats, points, rebounds, assists, that's 5 times 3, 15 opportunities to lead your team in a stat. Johnny Broome has led Auburn in 13 of the 15 opportunities. Whew. All 5 points, all 5 rebounds, 3 of the 5 games he's led them in assists as well. Pretty good. Let's quit that and quickly get to this.
Got him!
Men's basketball, Texas at NC State. You know what NC State needs?
A win?
Their swagger back.
Yeah.
2 games ago, I couldn't go on Twitter without somebody saying, NC State's the last undefeated ACC team. Why is no one talking about that? Why aren't they up in the rankings? Why aren't they a ranked team? Where'd those fans go? And I don't say that to be mean and say oh, you lost to Purdue and BYU, go shut up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that to be keep that same energy. There was a stretch last year where you lost 10 of 14 games, and it ended in the Final Four. Losing 2 straight is not an end-of-the-world situation. You need time. 10 guys for NC State average at least 10 minutes per game right now. That's not how any coach wants to operate, including, by the way, Bryce Hurd, who was the 3rd highest-ranked recruit in a 3-man high school recruiting class, behind Trey Parker, behind Paul McNeil. He played 9 minutes in the loss to BYU, which isn't a boatload, but that's enough to impact the game. And this is the first time I've mentioned him on this show. Keep your confidence because you have reasons for a slow start. I think before the season, if I would have asked NC State fans, how long is it going to take till you hit your stride? They'd be like, I don't know, 15, 20 games. So like 7, 8 games into the season, you don't hide your confidence. I'm not just talking to fans. I'm talking to players. I'm talking to Coach Keats. Keep that same we're the defending ACC champion swagger. And maybe it'll help you against Texas at home tonight. There you go. That's Hit It and Quit It. Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly, now I'm here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial and Coach Pete. Coach Pete is giving away 10 golden tickets. 10 of Coach Pete's special golden tickets to get you some of his best-selling books, plus his box sets like 7 Baby Steps that have workbooks and DVDs, as well as a $1,000 valued consultation process that takes the worry out of retirement planning so you can enjoy peace of mind about your financial future. It's the best for everybody. And what I mean by that is if you're a homework doer, if you're studious, well, you can get a whole bunch of information and workbooks and everything to go home and make sure you're caught up on everything. If you're not, if you're someone like me, you're like, no, I'm a visual learner. I learn during lectures. Put it up on the board. Let's talk about it. You can go in there, and they will break it all down for you, all the same information in a way that is easily processed by someone with your learning style. They do it for everybody, just like they customize their retirement plans. They customize how they work with you. So give them a call, 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Or text my name, Tim, to 600-700, and you'll get hooked up with one of those golden tickets. That's 800-691-3215 if you're calling. If you're texting, it's just my name, Tim, to 600-700. Mike Glennon stopped by the studio earlier today to talk about everything going on in college football, specifically his NC State Wolfpack, former player. So that conversation is coming to you next. Don't go anywhere.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I call games in Seattle and around the country, but I still spend a lot of time right here in the Triangle. When I'm here to see my family around the holidays, we always head to Buffalo Brothers. It's my go-to spot for stocking stuffers. Now through December 24th, buy a $40 gift card for someone special and get a $10 gift card for you. Now that's a deal, baby. Visit any of their 5 locations at buffbrothers.com. Oh man, now I want wings.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, everything for the exterior of your home. Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite, yeah.
I want to hear
it. So windows, doors are my favorite products. The reason why is because we are the best at installing them. You know, there's 1,000 different types of windows on the market, doors on the market, different people installing them, different companies. I don't care how good a window you get. If it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I always tell people, if you buy a submarine window, the best one in the world, and you have me put it on a submarine, you don't want to get in that submarine.
I don't want to get in the submarine either way.
I hear you. So anyway, so that's the thing I say. So it's really important that you have things installed properly. We've been around since 1961. We've got a 4.9 out of 5-star Google review ratings, over 800 reviews. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free no-obligation estimate.
It's the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online at aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, joined as we are every week by Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback, spent 10 years in the league. He joins us to pretty much nerd out on quarterback play. And we did this on our Pack Therapy podcast, which can be found everywhere podcasts can be found, on our YouTube channel as well. I gave you this option on the pod. I'll give you the option here on air because you're going to hit a different audience. As an NC State guy, how much gloating do you want to do after the win over UNC over the weekend?
It always feels good to beat UNC. Don't get me wrong. It's still just like 6-6 wasn't quite the year we wanted. But don't get me wrong. Take a win over Chapel Hill in Chapel Hill every day of the week, and after the game stuff just makes it even better because you see the player trying to throw the flag into the crowd. Like, dude, just go to the locker room. You lost again. Get ready for next year.
Like Trust Tree here, be honest. You live local, obviously. You're not just interacting with State fans in the area. Any texts fired off to rub it into a UNC supporter in your life?
I did not do that.
I know your sister's husband attended UNC, played baseball at UNC. There wasn't any razzing.
No, they because luckily, we have had their number in basketball as well, but I don't want the return text if it goes the other way. So I just let it be. They know that they got to live another year with Dave Doran, kind of being their daddy.
Perfect. Mike Glennon joining us here on the show. You opened up, that you don't do the razzing because you don't want to open up the door for the return. When it comes to the fighting after the game, the flag planting, which has become a hot button issue all across college football and sports in general, did NC State just open themselves up for now you can do pretty much whatever you want in Carter Finley or in the Lenovo Center during basketball season if you win because you won, you did the flag plant, and then you look down at the UNC, just go to the locker room after you lose? Like, have you now just signed yourself up for, if you do lose in the future, head down, straight to the locker room, get out of there, and let them do their thing in your arena?
Absolutely. I think if you're going to do it to someone else, you got to expect it in return on the other way. And I think it's almost used as motivation next year. It's like Dave Doran's telling the guys, look, we planted the flag. You better not let them beat us to give them the opportunity to do it again. And I don't see anything wrong with the flag planting. That's what makes rivalries so great. And NC State, they earned it. If UNC wanted to do something about it, if Ohio State wanted to do something about it, win during the game, then get off the field. So I think it's great for the rivalry. It's just, to your point, NC State players, you better handle your business on the field next year, or you can almost guarantee there's going to be a flag being planted right in front of our little Mr. Wolf at the 50-yard line.
Mr. Wolf seems scrappy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get away from the off the field stuff, or actually get to different off the field stuff. Big news for State earlier today. CJ Bailey, freshman quarterback, took over for Grayson McCall, found different ways to impress throughout the season, led the game-winning drive against UNC over the weekend. He commits to Savage Wolves, which is the collective that supports NC State, that he will be around for his sophomore year in Raleigh. Still don't know exactly what that means, and I know you're kind of equally confused on, is he contractually obligated to stay? What does the commitment mean? But if we assume that the announcement, the agreement comes to fruition and he is around in Raleigh next season, which I think is easily the most likely scenario, what does that do for the offense? What does that do for the program?
Oh, it's huge to get a player like CJ Bailey back. We saw what he was capable of as a true freshman, and he played very well. To get him through a whole nother offseason where he's the guy running the show, where he's not having to, worry about learning the playbook, adjusting to the speed of the game. He's just out there improving his craft and becoming more of a master than just kind of a student of the game. I think we are going to see an even more improved CJ Bailey. I mean, just to tie it into Carolina, Drake May redshirted as a freshman. We saw him burst on the scene as a redshirt freshman. Right now is basically what CJ Bailey has done more than what Drake May did, at the same point. So I think we can expect an even better CJ Bailey. And I think with the whole transfer portal, this now gives the coaches they can go to these other potential transfers and say, hey, look, we got our guy, and come to NC State and go play with him. So that's big for NC State for obvious reasons.
I want to relate this back to something in your history here. I just brought it up while you were talking, brought up your old 247 Sports recruiting profile, just to give you some bona fides for what Mike was rolling out of high school. He was the 47th recruit in the entire country, 4th-ranked pro-style quarterback, so kind of a centerpiece of a recruiting class is what his recruiting profile, that's not me, that's the experts, would say. I also know that you committed early to NC State. Could have dragged it on. You could have done more of the will I, won't they, should I take, all these extravagant visits. You committed early. How much of that was because you knew a quarterback with your kind of hype might help the coaches bring in an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, somebody that could help you out? And then with CJ Bailey, wasn't the level of recruit you were coming out of high school, but right now I would say if he entered into a transfer portal, he would be a centerpiece style player. How much maybe is his quick decision after the end of the regular season going to do the same?
It very well may be, and I think that's even more why he's impressive is if he wants to get out in front of this and not waste any time. I mean, this is only a couple days after the season's basically over to announce he's coming back. Now they can go to all these transfers, and I'm sure that is part of the reason was he wanted to come back to NC State, and he didn't want to, mess around and kind of look elsewhere where his focus should be on NC State and helping them bring in other players. So I'm sure that absolutely played a role in him announcing this so quick, and that's great for the coaches. That's great for this NC State team next year.
Were you thinking that, and did it work?
I wouldn't say that was the number one reason, but I think part of the reason was I'll be one of the first ones to commit here, and then kind of help recruit the other players. And it's obviously changed since 2008 or 2007 when I did this with social media and all that. But yeah, I think it goes a long way that when you get on Rivals or whatever and you see NC State's got one of the top quarterbacks in the country committed to your school, it's like, hey, maybe I want to go there and be part of it too. So CJ Bailey, clearly players around the country are likely going to know who he is and want to be a part of it with him.
Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, 10-year NFL veteran, joining us here in studio on The Drive. The other news that has happened since the win over UNC is the expectation, multiple reports out there, that Casey Concepcion will be hitting the transfer portal with one of the, I don't even know how to describe it, confusing careers in NC State history where, we're talking about CJ Bailey, maybe the best true freshman quarterback in the country. There's an easy argument that Casey Concepcion last season was the best true freshman wide receiver in the country. Sophomore year doesn't live up to expectations. Now he's on the way out. What went wrong?
That's hard to exactly say. I will say I think NC State fans need to be appreciative for what Casey did last year. He could have likely left and made a lot more money and gone elsewhere, but he wanted to be part of NC State, and so I think he's one of us. But I think just the coaches seem to forcing the ball too much. He wasn't as productive, honestly. He had some drops. He wasn't getting open as much. The body language thing seemed to be an issue kind of all year. And look, this is just what this era is. And if he has what he thinks is a better opportunity elsewhere, I'm not going to hold it against him. And I think NC State's just fine with who they have coming back next year. And I think we'll see kind of, Casey had over 50 catches last year. We're just going to see more distribution where other guys are going to likely, be in the 30s and 40s catches versus in the 20s. So I think NC State's fine at the receiver position with or without. I would have loved Casey to stay, but it'll be just fine.
I'm going to press you on one thing you said there, and I'm not pressing you from me, but I know the fan base is going to lock in on one phrase. You said he's still one of us. A guy that leaves and maybe doesn't finish the job or finish whatever the goals were. He's still one of you. He's still in the Wolf Pack.
I don't mind. If he's playing on Sunday Night Football, announcing his school, if he wants to say NC State and somewhere else, I'm for it. He was
a whole pack of Badgers, is what you're saying.
It doesn't have to be that cliche and cheesy.
I didn't want to put you on the spot there, but you know what I'm saying.
He was a huge part of NC State last year and brought so much excitement to this fan base and backed it up on the, he was a lot of fun to watch last year. It just didn't go quite as well this year. To me, I don't know if every fan will feel this way. I say he's still one of us.
Still one of us. Never mind. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. I was going to go Kendrick Lamar there, but I don't know if we're ready for that, and we definitely don't have the time. So, Mike, we appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Tim.
Once again, Mike Glennon. Check him out on the Pack Therapy podcast, everywhere podcasts can be found, including our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. Before we move on, here is Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Homeowners especially, listen up. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client recently got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours. They wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week you could be credit card debt-free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we have the starting five, including a autopsy of the game that was beaten very, very poorly, within an inch of their lives. I might be a little exaggerating. Canes lost last night. We break it down next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Fruitcake! You shouldn't have. Wow, a candle.
Spread joy, not junk, with the Autobell Car Wash Holiday Sale. Visit Autobell to buy one Super Poly Process Wash and get one 40% off.
Hey guys, this is Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and we know that you want to get your wife or girlfriend something special this Christmas. But sometimes you just don't know what to get. You wonder, what will she like? What will make her feel special? What will make her say, wow? At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we have experts that are here to help. We specialize in making you look like a hero. You can even send her in to make a wish list that we keep on file to help make your life just a little bit easier. Bailey's has the largest selection of jewelry in North Carolina, including designers like David Yurman, Lagos, Marco Bichigo, and Apolita, as well as beautifully curated Bailey's collections. And don't fret, because if for some reason she doesn't love your gift, we have a 30-day return policy. Our goal is to be your go-to jeweler for life. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in Raleigh's Village District, Crabtree Valley Mall, and Cary's Fenton. Also in Rocky Mount and Greenville. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and have you back on the road before you can count all the change in your center console. Cha-ching, baby! Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay in your car 10-minute oil change. Appointments now available at participating locations.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we've got the NBA on our minds, and FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. We got parlays, we got totals, we have everything, player props as well. Plus, you can check out newer bets, number of dunks, assists, three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. My gosh, we're getting specific, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever, and now's the perfect time to do it. New customers, bet $5, win that bet, get $150 in bonus bets. How about that? FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. After a frozen start this morning, we warmed up this afternoon, and not really all that cold tonight. 37, it will be breezy. Tomorrow's high 52. We have an Arctic front passing. It'll be a windy day. Colder for Friday, in the morning low 23.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock, check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell was up 308 points today to 45,014.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Starting five starts with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll feed it across. They'll score. Drury, what a shot! And Carolina, at the halfway mark of the third, has gone up 3-2. A BB from Drury.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the game from last night yet. Do we do spoiler alerts for live sports? That goal was taken away after a review for goalie interference. Partially because Jack Drury has every goal taken away, or it seems like it, and partially because it was that night for the Canes. You know, I talk about this phenomena for people that say like momentum doesn't exist. I always say it's not even just sports. We've all had a day that, you know, you wake up, you think it's going to be a great day, you throw your feet off the side of the bed, and your toddler left the Lego, and you step on it, and it hurts. And then you're like, well, not the best start. You walk in, You're trying to get the last little bit of your toothpaste off of out of the tube, and it squirts, and now it's on your shirt. Why were you brushing your teeth with your shirt that you got ready for work? I don't know. But you did it, and now it's ruined, and you got to get a new one, and that was your favorite shirt. And it just, from there, you spill your cereal, and then after you clean it up and put it in the bowl, you realize you don't have any milk, and then you get in the car, and you forgot that the day before you didn't fill it with gas, and it's on E, and you're late for the meeting, and surprise, your big boss is at the meeting. Like, it's just one of those days where momentum goes against you. Canes had one of those last night. Even when it seemed like they were getting the game back on track and taking the lead against a team that they should beat, goalie interference, take it back, and they score right away to take the lead. It's 7 shot attempts through the first 2 periods. I mean, what is that for a team that is near the top in shot attempts per game every single year since Rod Brindamore took over? They lost to the Kraken, 3rd straight loss, one of those days. I'm going to try not to overreact, but part of me does want to start, bringing out meters and panic buttons and talking about what we would need. I'm not going to, but there's a part of my brain that wants to. Dennis, I've been talking a lot about the Canes because I have a lot of feelings after watching that game. Wanted to vent.
Sure.
But I also know, based on how you walked into the cubicle earlier today, you also weren't pleased with the performance from the Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean, Rod Brindamore himself said it. They stunk last night.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. He said, to quote him, "We stunk tonight." That's what he said. And it's like, okay, yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Gets a nod from everyone in the media.
Basically, we're like, yeah, you kind of did. And I think everyone listening goes, yeah, you kind of did. But I tend to look at, when it comes to hockey, I look at kind of like on like chunks, like 4 or 5 game chunks. Like, all right, what are you doing? Like, what's a trend as opposed to a game-by-game type thing? So I look at trends, and I'm like, you know what? The last few games, goaltending hasn't been great. I know Coach Chekhov was his first game back. Having not played in a week and a half with a concussion.
There were a couple last night that
you normally think that he would get.
You better have a reason for not getting them.
Yeah,
right?
And then you go to the 2 games against Florida. Not good goaltending either from Spencer Martin. They actually sent him back down to Chicago. So it's like, okay, is it your goaltending that's the reason why you're struggling, or is it other stuff that's taking place on the ice? There are guys out there that are struggling, and we just look at the ice time. I look at Jesperi Kotkaniemi, for example. We've seen his ice time continue to get reduced, and he's had every chance over the last multiple years, hey, be the number 2 center on this team, yet for some reason he keeps getting pushed back down in terms of playing time. To me, that's an indictment on what he's doing right now as a player.
There's a hat tip to Adam Gold, host of the Adam Gold Show before this one, hosts Stormwatch, Canes Corner, so much. He tweeted it out, and I actually rewinded and went back yesterday. His line was like, Aho's not playing well enough to deserve, I'm paraphrasing here, like the way Natchez is playing. And his argument was Natchez basically put a goal on a plate, like a silver platter, and presented it to Aho, and Aho missed the goal wide by like 2.5 feet. And and I went, you know what? Let me go check. Right, I trust Adam, but I like to see things, so I rewinded it and went, 2.5 might be a little generous. That thing might have been, 3 feet and 4 inches. Like if we're measuring twice, it wasn't just the goaltender. It wasn't just allowing a couple soft goals.
Yep.
There also were opportunities for the skaters to pick up their goalie and make up some of the mistakes. And someone like Aho usually is someone making up for mistakes elsewhere. So there's a lot they have to get to. Luckily, it's not a long break. They play tomorrow. Colorado at home. Chance to get that taste out of your mouth. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
Oh, he's grown. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. His confidence is through the roof, But so is his humility, and that's what makes him a special guy, He cares deeply about the program, his team, and he was in it to win it today, man. He was fired up to play in that game.
I won't spend too much time here because we're a little behind schedule. It's second and long. We want to get back ahead of the sticks. But the transfer portal is looming, and we're starting to get nuggets of information on players' decisions. CJ Bailey, do you know what should be a goal of quarterbacks everywhere that have eligibility beyond the season they're playing? I want to play so well that I have to announce I am staying at the school that I am at. If you don't play well, There's no like, hey, everybody, I'm not going to transfer and go cash in a big NIL check elsewhere. That shows things are going well. The same way, like if an athletic director has to announce that a coach isn't getting fired, even though no one like officially asked, that's a bad sign. If your quarterback needs to come out and just say, not going anywhere, that's a good sign. And C.J. Bailey did just that for NC State. Casey Concepcion is number one wide receiver, at least in targets. He's expected to hit the portal. He's kind of made that known. The schools that are reportedly interested and who will be looking at once he hits the portal, according to On3, who covers that sort of thing, Colorado, Alabama, Auburn, Penn State, and Kansas State.
There you go.
For UNC, Connor Harrell got a couple starts at quarterback. He's expected to hit the portal. That one makes sense. And the only other one there's a few guys, but nothing really crazy of note. None from Duke that I've seen as of yet. UNC, the portal is officially opened. So because they fired their coach, you get 30 days from that news where it's open regardless of if the window is open or not. For Duke and NC State, the portal will open on the 9th of December. So nothing is officially official until then for those schools. But, once you announce publicly, it probably means you're going in the portal. Anything to add on the portal stuff?
No, sir.
This time of year, wildly busy for college football coaches. They're already not home during the holidays because it was always signing day and bowl game prep and all of this other stuff. Now it's signing day, bowl game prep, re-recruiting everyone you have to make sure they don't go in the portal, monitoring all thousands of names that go into the portal to see if there's someone you want to go grab and bring to your program, and dealing with coaching rumors, fundraising for NIL, negotiating those deals with new players, returning players, current players, every kind of players. The next month has to be like, honey, I will be home when I can, but I'm just leaving at the office a few times.
And there's roster management just to make sure you have enough guys to play your bowl game. That's a real thing.
Yeah. Can we move a D-tackle to guard just in case? Hey, you played quarterback in high school. Do you still remember how to take a snap?
Mm-hmm.
You're our backup. Like it gets crazy. Portal stuff. What number was that on the?
That was 4.
That was 4. Let's get to number 3.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey, his 3rd of the night.
There are a few things that I want to spend a bunch of time on. So we're going to rush through this. The ACC Football Postseason Awards were announced today. Dennis, who won what?
Cam Ward is your winner for ACC Offensive Player of the Year, as well as ACC Player of the Year. And Defensive Player of the Year goes to Donovan Ezaraku from Boston College. Your Rookies of the Year Offensive Rookie of the Year is Isaac Brown, the running back from Louisville. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Sammy Brown, the linebacker from Clemson. And the overall Rookie of the Year is Isaac Brown, running back from Louisville. C.J. Bailey finished 3rd in both Rookie of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year, the quarterback from NC State. Omarion Hampton finished 2nd for Offensive Player of the Year and tied for 2nd for Player of the Year in the conference.
I said this earlier. I have no major qualms, no major upset. No one should feel ridiculously snubbed. I think the voters actually did a good job.
Yeah.
I may disagree, but smart people disagree. You know what I mean? Like there's more than one way to come to an answer. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Feels like if you're outside of those 2 conferences, you almost have to be flawless, or at least your margin for error is much smaller.
Was that Heather Dinich there?
That was Michelle Smallman.
Michelle Smallman. Morning show. Talk about the college football playoff rankings. I have things I'm not happy with from the college football playoff committee. Alabama being ahead of Miami. Why? And if your answer is they play in the SEC, I think that's a bad answer.
Well, in that case, why not South Carolina? Well, then why not Ole Miss?
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
There is always, and I try to say this every time we talk about the college football playoff rankings. It's the same thing with Selection Sunday on the basketball side. There's always going to be disgruntled. I should be in. I'm the first 4 out. Why am I the first 4? There's always going to be that. The thing that I crave is logical answers. Something you can point to. Well, here's what we value that you did not have success in. That's hard to argue, right? It's, common opponents. Well, we value the last 3 games of the year significantly more than the first 3 games of the year. We value, just something significant, something obvious, and it never seems like that's the case. It's always you ask, hey, why is this team over this team? And they just take you for a walk and never get to the drink of water at the end. They're just, there's 4-2, and then your losses are worse, but it's explosive offense and eye test, and also their overall strength. It's like, what are we doing? Wins, losses matter first. Who those wins came against, who those losses came against matters second. Start there. And if you can settle your debates, if you can settle who's better than who with those pieces of information first, do it and move on. Do you know what I think is the problem? And this happens in every walk of life. I think the committee just needs to feel like everyone in the room needs to feel like they did something. I'm not calling out which league, and honestly, I'm in, I think, 6 fantasy football leagues. So I can talk about one of them and complain without you being the people knowing exactly which one. I'm in a fantasy football league that they love having meetings. They do winter meetings. They do league meetings. It's the camaraderie, right? You like getting together. You like hanging out with the people. It gives you a reason to do it. Order some food. Talk about it. Our league is ridiculous. We have the craziest rules ever. There's you get points for being the home team. There's divisions. There's the last playoff team goes to this team. There's you can only claim at noon even on game day. So if you don't have it's there's crazy rules. And I think part of it is because when they have these meetings, they feel like they need to do something. So they change a rule, right? You got to vote on something. So you change a rule. Sometimes I think the college football playoff committee, if they just got together and said who's won the most games against the best teams and whose losses aren't against bad teams, there would be someone in the room sitting at the big conference table or on the Zoom call that at the end would be like, I haven't said anything. Well, I need to earn my keep. I need to be here if we're having these meetings, I need to bring something up. So then they chime up and go like, hey, over the last 3 games, Alabama's been better than Miami, and I really think that, we have to look at how they're playing now versus then. And in actuality, there's no reason to do that. You're not picking the best team of a 3-game sample set. You're picking the best team of a season. You're not picking, the eye test says this team should be winning more games than they did, so we should credit them as a better team. It's like, what? I have no problem saying if Alabama played Miami and you made me pick a winner, I would probably pick Alabama to win the game. I also have no problem saying if I was on the college football playoff committee, Miami should be above Alabama. And you may go, well, those are counterintuitive. No, they're not. They're 2 different conversations. Because guess what? I would have picked Alabama to beat Vanderbilt. I would have picked Alabama to beat Oklahoma. I would have picked Alabama to beat Tennessee. And they lost all 3 of those games. So maybe who I think is going to win a game going into the game isn't the best measure for who's the best team or who would win on a given Saturday. And even if you think you're flawless, you're not. You're not the best measure of who I think is going to win is much better than who you think. That's not true either. SMU is 8th. If they lose in the ACC championship game, I think they fall more than 3 spots. They are being set up to be the rug pulled out from under them. They are 11-1 going into an ACC championship game. What's going to happen is if they lose to Clemson will get the automatic bid. Miami won't get in. SMU will fall out. They won't get in. And a 3-loss Clemson team will be the only ACC representative. And guess what's going to happen? The ACC is going to say, we're not playing a conference championship ever again. Why the heck did we do that? It's stupid. Maybe I should have just said that and moved on. Let's move on. Let's get to number 1.
The 1!
stolen by Foster. 3-on-2 in transition. Caleb will go it alone, off the window and down.
Hands off to R.J. Davis. Davis gets a screen, pulls up for three. Well, there you go. R.J.'s back as he drops it home.
Huntley half-field immediate double. Kick up top. O'Connell steps, open triple, triggers and hits.
There's great college basketball tonight, all across the triangle. Today is one of those. I grew up in Hawaii. I've said that a few times. But they had a saying, and they would say it on the news, and they would say it in advertisements, and it was, "Lucky you live Hawaii." And basically what that meant is, like, after the weather, when they say it's going to be another 85-degree day with mostly sunny skies, a welcoming breeze coming off the west coast of the island, the windward shores, lucky you live Hawaii. Well, on days like today, lucky you live the triangle. Make sure you take a moment to look around and go, there is great, not good, maybe not even great. There is astonishing college basketball in the triangle tonight.
Enjoy it all.
There's two separate. We'll go in levels. There's an unranked but very, very interesting game, NC State hosting Texas. That is again, unranked, but a Final Four team and one of the richest college programs in the country that is not afraid to spend in Texas. That is so much history and so much intrigue. Then you step up a level. There's a top 20 matchup, right, where Alabama, who's 10th, is visiting the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, who's at 20 in the rankings at the moment. This has 2 of the 6 AP All-American first-teamers with Sears and R.J. Davis. Oh, by the way, they played in the Sweet 16 last year, and Alabama knocked out UNC. And oh, by the way, R.J. Davis hasn't been lighting it up and is going to look to do so in a matchup of an elite player at his position in Sears. Sears hasn't been lighting it up, and he's going to be looking to do the same. Unbelievable matchup in one of the coolest environments in college sports. And then you go up even one level, right, from a top 20 matchup to a top 10 matchup with Auburn, number 2 in the country, visiting Duke, number 9 in the country. And, oh, by the way, depending on which publications you looked at preseason, 2 more All-Americans in that one, in Johnny Broome from Auburn and Cooper Flagg from Duke. There are certain first-team All-American preseason selections where 4 of the 5 or 6 first-teamers are playing for 4 different teams in the triangle tonight. Lucky you live the triangle, right? Like, look around and appreciate that for a moment. That is unreal. And each team, especially the ones in the triangle, I think are kind of desperate need for wins. I mean, not must wins. Their season's not over, but it'd be really, really nice for these teams to get a win. None of them have a win over a team that is currently ranked. Duke did beat Arizona, who was, I think, 17 at the time, but they've fallen out of the top 25 in the most recent update. So none of these teams have beaten a ranked opponent. UNC and NC State haven't beaten a power conference team yet. Now, that's not to say they don't have the ability to. I think they definitely do. I think they're talented enough to do so, and I guarantee you they will, but it'd be nice if it happened tonight for those programs just to check it off the list and not have to answer any more of those questions. If it's NC State, I think it comes down to this. I'm going to give you like one key that I think happens for each game. NC State men's basketball, I'm looking for the next 15 games on what I'm looking for main character energy. Who, and I don't think you should be able to do this, but everybody kind of knows it happens occasionally. Who can show up late for the bus and the coach will kind of look the other way? Right, who's like, well, we did say 5 and it's 5:03, but, the elevator. Like, who gets that? And I don't think it should happen. I don't think Kevin Keats would let it happen. I'm just trying to explain what I mean by main character energy. Who is the guy? Who's the lead singer of the band? For Duke, again, these are going to become broken records until you fix it. Late game execution. Close games, good teams. Freshmen are going to have the ball in their hands because they're the players you want to have the ball in their hands. How did they basically not get skittish, not get a little crazy eyes, Little Josh Allen on the run, pitch it to nobody. And then for UNC, RJ Davis has to shoot. Shoot. Better. He was a 40% three-point shooter on 7.7 attempts last year. This year, small sample size, but still, it's noticeable. 27.5% three-point shooter on 7.3 attempts per game. That is a significant drop down in efficiency, which becomes vitally important. If he shoots, I'll say this. If he shoots 40% or better, I think they win the game. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. I'll give you this for a number. Like, this happens a lot. You know, we talk percentages so much, and shooting percentage and completion percentage. Some people, you know, like I track three-point shooting percentage for All-Americans. They track the interest rate. They're like, what is it, 6%, 6.5%, 7%? Did it drop into the low sixes? Go. We have to pounce now. Oh no, did it drop into the 5%? We just pounced on the 6% yesterday. Now I feel dumb because I paid all those costs and fees to refinance at the 6%, but it's down to the 5%. And who knows? My cousin says that it's going to be in the 4% tomorrow, and my mailman says if you wait 6 months because of the things happening somewhere else in the world, it's going to be back down in the 3%. But my other friend says the sky is falling and it's going to 14%. If you're tracking your interest rates like that, I can't emphasize this enough. Call Miller Lending and let them take that panic out of your life with a no closing cost loan. And what that means is you refinance or you get your mortgage from Miller Lending on a no closing cost loan, nothing out of your pockets, no money, no third-party fees, zero means zero. And that takes away the need to pounce on a low rate. Because if it gets lower, refinance, nothing out of your pocket. If it gets lower again, refinance, nothing out of your pocket. If it happens again, you're not like, oh no, you just refinance, nothing out of your pocket. And if rates go up, instead of running around like Chicken Little, why didn't I lock it in? Because you did lock it in, and it cost you nothing out of your pocket when you did it a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, a couple years ago. It really just takes away the worry. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending have been doing no closing cost loans for decades, and they want to help you out as well. Lots of people around the office have used Miller Lending, and they all left happy and satisfied. Go ahead and give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. And stop tracking the interest rates like I track shooting percentages. You can also visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, MLS number 2502146. We'll take a break, but first, we need to get some numbers game contestants. Is this a $25 Hardee's gift card we have? We have a $25 Hardee's gift card going to the winner of the numbers game, but if you want to win, you have to play. If you want to play, you have to call in. The number to call, 919-860-5326. If you want to throw your hat in the ring for the numbers game, 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
There's no teeter-tottering on this one. Bryce Young is an NFL quarterback. You don't need that proven to you any bit more. The conversation should no longer be about Bryce Young, I'm sorry to say. For those of you who want to harp on Bryce Young, search out the words Bryce Young and is he bad? Is he good? If you're looking for the clout has ended.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift, or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
It's bow time.
'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's Bo time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Make your first NBA bet a swish with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. Check out newer bets, like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever. And now is the perfect time to get in on the action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul and get a chance to score $150 in bonus bets. Have a ball, betting ball with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. And here's how it works. Well, first of all, it's a $25 Hardee's gift card on the line as far as the prize goes. And the contestants will be Andrew and Raleigh and Logan and Zeppelin. They will be competing in the numbers game. Let's go like old school barroom debate about college sports. There's a great college basketball slate tonight here in the Triangle. So the question we'll ask, and then we'll pick our favorite answer to see who goes first, is who is your all-time favorite college basketball player and why? Andrew and Raleigh, you're up first. Who is your all-time favorite college basketball player and why?
Let's go with Shane Battier. Just good old times of Duke back in the day.
All right. Dennis, any follow-ups you need?
No questions.
All right. Logan and Zeppelin, you are up next. Who is your all-time favorite college basketball player and why?
I'm going to go with the recent one here. DJ Burns, NC State, Wolfpack. Heck of a run last year. Really love that team. You know, brought NC State something they haven't seen the Final Four since the 80s. So he's my favorite all-time player now after that run.
Great answer. Dennis, I am not sure you could have two more different college basketball players in the history of the game.
That's true.
Shane Battier strikes me as the guy who shows up ready to run like a 4-minute mile at the beginning of training camp. Like, Coach, I've been working all offseason on my conditioning. I'm ready. I've been thinking. And DJ Burns is like, by March, I'll be in shape. But also, I have all the natural touch in the world, and Battier is like, I've worked so hard for all of this.
This is a tough one because Shane Battier had such a great college career at Duke.
Statistically, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, he really is. And then DJ Burns just had one of the more memorable runs,
Mm-hmm.
obviously very recent. This is a very difficult one, Tim.
I do not disagree with you.
I might lean DJ Burns on this one because even though as great as Shane Battier was, I don't think he ever reached like the popularity, at least for the moment that DJ Burns had. I know that Shane Battier's run was much longer because he had a much longer run and career at Duke, and then obviously going into the NBA, and people know the name Shane Battier.
Mm-hmm.
But the popularity of DJ Burns was pretty unmatched for a lot of people. So I might lean DJ Burns on this one. I think it's what we're going to go with. This was not easy.
No, I actually
You
set
guys
you
did
up for a
not
tough
make
question.
this easy.
And it was a tough question because there's really no bad answers
I
there.
know, there really isn't. Those are both great answers, by the way.
So
Those Battier Duke teams were really good.
Logan is the one that said DJ Burns, right?
That is correct.
All right, Logan, you get to go first. Andrew, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just wait on the line there for a second. Logan, are you ready to pick your category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL Jimmies and Jameses, NFL players born in the first week of December, NBA players that played for the Charlotte Hornets or Bobcats in the last 20 years, and NHL players, Hurricanes only.
I'll do Hurricanes only.
I like your style. I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. I will say the team, even though you know it in this category, to keep it fair with some of the other categories, timing-wise. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Let's run it.
All right, let's run it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Correct. Andrei Svechnikov, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Incorrect. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Carolina Hurricanes.
25.
Incorrect. Andrei Svechnikov, Carolina Hurricanes.
37.
Correct. Jeff O'Neill, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
I don't know if I liked it as much, but it was kind of entertaining for you to go 37 before every answer. You just kind of had to like start the engine and get it warmed up.
Yeah, my gears are really running there.
I will say it's an all-time kind of surprise to get Jack Drury kind of quickly and then struggle with Andrei Svechnikov. It's just the way the brain works. You did get Jack Drury. For those of you playing at home, we would have also accepted 72 in addition to 18. He's worn both. Svech, 37. Van Riemsdyk, 57. And Jeff O'Neill, we would have accepted 19 or 92. Those were the answers. You got 2 correct, so we'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and stay on the line. And that brings us to Andrew and Raleigh. Andrew, are you there?
Yep.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Jimmies, and James, NFL players born in the first week of December, or NBA players. We're talking Charlotte Hornets and Bobcats the last 20 years.
Let's go with Jim, Jimmy, or James.
Okay. Obviously, you get the category. They're all named Jim, Jimmy, or James. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need 3 for the win. Any last-second clarifications or questions?
Nope, let's do it.
Let's do it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jim Kelly, Buffalo Bills.
17.
Incorrect. Jimmy Graham, New Orleans Saints.
88.
Incorrect. Jim Kelly, Buffalo Bills.
12.
Correct. Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns.
32.
Correct. Jimmy Smith, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Pass.
James Harrison, Pittsburgh Steelers.
92.
Correct. Jimmy Graham, New Orleans Saints.
80.
Correct. Jimmy Smith, Jacksonville Jaguars.
89.
Incorrect. Jimmy Smith, Jacksonville Jaguars.
81.
Ah, you were close. You were honing in on it, but you didn't quite get there. The 81 would have been after the timer as well, so it's not like an all-time miss. But 82 was the number we were looking for Jimmy Smith. You were in the right position group, right time period, right? That all those 90s wide receivers in the 80s. But you got Jim Kelly, you got Jimmy Graham, you got Jim Brown, you got James Harrison, and that is enough for the win. So congratulations.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go is right. You get the $25 Hardee's gift card. Congratulations. Go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure that you get your prize.
All right, thank you.
All right, congratulations. You know how some people are just like they're not a Jimmy? You know what I mean? I just accidentally called Jim Brown Jimmy Brown, and it felt like I was talking about a completely different person. Like no one has ever called Jim Brown Jimmy Brown. It's always funny when, your buddy who's like Thomas, you see his grandma, and his grandma's like, "Oh, Tommy," and you're just like, "Whoa, where did that come from? How did that happen?" The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. And I'm still here for the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. I love it. You can go in there, talk with the fellas. They're watch nerds, and I say that affectionately. They know everything about all the different brands. But also, when you go in there to maybe do some window shopping or some actual shopping for your wrist, be sure to check out the main showroom. There's a pretty big holiday coming up, little Christmas, little Hanukkah, big gift-giving time. Bailey's and BaileyBox.com are looking to make sure you win this holiday season by helping you get that special someone in your life a great gift. It's about giving more than receiving. If you go on BaileyBox.com, check out the gift guide. I can promise you'll have plenty of options, and maybe even bring up the website casually, see what they like. So when you go into the showroom, you have a little bit of information. But they break it up into categories. There's the Christmas classics. We're talking the diamond staples that everyone should have. The holiday hoops, which are all styles and budgets. Fun, fashionable earrings. Cheerful color, if you're looking to get at maybe leaving the diamonds behind, going into some other precious and semi-precious colored gemstones. Gifts for him. We're talking watches. We're talking men's jewelry. Top gifts under $1,000 for affordable luxury, including many of their Bailey's collection items that any woman would love to have added to her collection. So, normally every other time of the year, I'm saying look out for you. Go check out the pre-owned vintage Rolexes. Go to the Omega Boutique. Don't forget to check out the 50 Fathoms from Blancpain, right? All these watches that are awesome. I still do that, but when you're there, think about somebody special in your life and check out the rest of the showroom as well. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry down at their Village District location in Raleigh. They have the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, the main showroom, the Omega Boutique. You can spend a whole bunch of time in there. It's Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District of Raleigh. We'll take a break. When we come back, some Canes and hockey players across the NHL are going to be getting the call to represent their country. Who might that be? Stick around to find out.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals. Low fixed rates, fast transfers, get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. For a limited time, trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's Window Nation's end-of-the-year sale. Get 50% off all styles of windows and a bonus 10% off. Plus, you could get 0 interest for 6 years. Sale ends December 31st, so book a quote at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm going to give hockey credit, like as a sport. I think they do a good job of celebrating hockey, if that makes sense.
Celebrate the sport.
They celebrate the sport. They are willing to adjust and make some kind of like, hey, we'll change this, adjust. We'll adjust ourselves. We'll compromise in order to do what's good for the sport. Other sports, you don't see it happen.
They hurt themselves for a long time, did the NHL, but they've come around back to it.
As of late. Like this Four Nations tournament that's coming up, 0% chance you will ever see it in the NBA or the NFL because owners of those franchises would never be like, you're going to go play games that I don't get paid for and you might get hurt? Sure. But somehow hockey, partially because they've needed to put the, as you said, they needed to like put the pedal to the floor a little bit and marketing themselves is becoming more and more into it. And I think they're recognizing the global nature of the game. But the Four Nations rosters are going to be announced, I believe, tonight at 6:30. So coming up right after Overdrive. We'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit here.
Yeah, U.S. and Canada will be announced at 6:30. Sweden and Finland have already been announced.
They said, why wait? Let's control the narrative here and put it out on our social medias. Which Canes are in the mix? What are we looking at? Who should, if you're a Canes fan that's going to be watching, you root for your country and you root for the Canes. Who might be on your list?
So one name that we already knew was Sebastian Aho. That's a name that we already knew because when they announced the Four Nations Cup, they said, all right, here are like 6 initial players for each roster.
Yep.
And Sebastian Aho was one of the
Headliners.
6 Finnish players.
As he should be.
At 100%. And right now that he is the only player on the Finnish national team.
For the Canes.
From the Carolina Hurricanes. No one from the Carolina Hurricanes is Swedish that's active. Jesper Fast. Hope his neck is doing well, seriously. But Jesper Fast not playing this season, so they have no Swedish players. There's a lot of talk, pretty strong belief, a lot of conviction that Jacob Slavin's going to make Team USA as a defenseman, which is awesome.
As he should, but also that one's less of a slam dunk just because he's underrated in a lot of ways.
He is in terms of offensive production, but everyone knows how good of a defender that he is, and
Agreed.
he can lock things down on the PK. It's like, yeah, we're Jacob Slavin. He should.
You just look at some of like the top 100 lists, and he comes in like the 80s, and I'm going like, how?
Yeah.
But then I always say one of the best ways to figure out who the good players are is to just play pickup and have captains and be like, who keeps getting drafted first?
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine Slavin's not making it out of the third round when you're like, all right, let's pick teams. You got first pick, I got next pick. Like Slavin's always picked early, so it makes sense.
But a player that's getting a lot of buzz and a lot of push to make the Canadian roster is Seth Jarvis. A lot of people really believe, and this is including a lot of the insiders like the Pierre LeBruns of The Athletic and guys who work for TSN, they believe that Seth Jarvis is going to make the Canadian national team, which is pretty impressive for a young guy at the age of 22 because he has the versatility of being able to play up and down throughout the entire lineup.
Mm-hmm.
He can kill penalties, and he can play in your power play, and he brings a lot of energy, obviously, to the team and to the roster and to the locker room, but also, again, just what he can do on the ice, and he's so responsible defensively. And that is something that is actually, when these GMs of these teams actually put these rosters together, they have to take those things into consideration. It can't be a bunch of guys who can score goals. Yeah, you need those, but who can actually kill a penalty for you? Seth Jarvis can do that on top of the goal scoring. So there's a lot of belief that Seth Jarvis is going to make Team Canada, which would be awesome to see.
And for the Canes, it is also a business. The more eyeballs you get on Seth Jarvis, the bigger star he is going to become. And suddenly, around Christmas time, you're going to be like, wow, our team store online, we are shipping a lot of jerseys to like California or Florida. Like he'll become one of those guys that translates because the more eyeballs you put on him, he's a likable dude. He has personality. It's just going to translate. So getting him big stage opportunities to put his game on display and show how good he is, while also just being a part of it and if you pay attention to the Canes, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm trying to describe Seth Jarvis like you guys haven't seen it. But it's another opportunity for him to build that brand.
By the way, former Carolina Hurricane Teuvo Teravainen did make the Finnish national team as well.
That makes sense.
So there's that.
Once a Cane, always a Cane, right?
Right.
Happy for him?
Yeah.
Mike Glennon earlier today said that he still considers Casey Concepcion, who was actively in the transfer portal leaving NC State, still one of us. So that's his words. So
one of us.
If you can if you can still have that kind of quick move to like, hey, appreciate what you did, then you can still be happy for Teuvo Teravainen getting a chance to represent his country. I've said this a bunch of times. Obviously, during the Olympics, everyone says it. Winning championships is obviously the goal, and that's what everybody's going to be measured on. I don't know if there's much like more chills-inducing than getting to represent your country. And I never got to do it in my playing career. I think it would have been really, really cool to like if you look down at your jersey and see USA, that's got to be awesome. Or Finland if you're from Finland or whatever. And if you don't believe that it's that cool, I want you to do one thing before you lose interest. Go to Lake Placid, New York, and just walk around that ice, walk around that town, and see everybody in the Team USA hockey stuff from the Miracle on Ice, and you will leave Lake Placid going, I really wish whatever you do, like if you're an accountant, you're like, I really wish there was a USA accounting team that I could go play for because I really think I could do some good things representing our country at the accounting Olympics. There's not that for all of us, but when there is, and you get the chance to represent your country, I do think it's really cool. So congratulations to all the players.
So this is part of you talk about the marketing, and this is where the NHL is adjusting. The NHL for a long time did not allow their players to play in the Olympics, which a lot of people felt like, well, this is actually hurting the game. We're not letting our best players being on a big stage. And this is where a lot of this comes in. This is between like the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So this is the opportune time to, hey, people want to watch sports. Oh, look, it's the best hockey players in the world representing their countries, which is what these players all want to do. Absolutely. Take advantage of that opportunity.
I've said it a long time. Location, location, location. Look for open real estate. Tuesdays, Wednesdays. That long 2 weeks between conference championship and Super Bowl. There's real estate there. Go ahead and take advantage of it and try to get eyeballs on your sport and create stars. So credit to hockey. That's coming to the end here. The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Coming up next, we have Overdrive. We're talking transfer portal to get things started. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody, and enjoy a great night of college basketball. Peace.
Hey, Carolina Panthers.